竜拳 波動拳
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free. fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Summoner's War 2020 Championship Series. We are back here again. It's the losers round of the Korea preliminary. So, really exciting stuff. Some big name players still in it, guys. Don't lose hope. If you're a SKIT or a LUCKYGOD fan, there's still a chance. They're going to be our first matchup coming up here. Paper thin with you, along with my guy Peter. We're back. We're here. We're ready. We're excited because today we find out one more person who gets to go on to the APAC regionals, and we're going to see a lot of people go out, which is a little scary, but there's a lot on the line here, Peter, and I'm really excited for today.
Yeah, I mean, we got so many matches already. We got to see a bit of look into everyone's strategy. We got some 6 stats that we're going to show you guys later around monsters and their win rates throughout the tourney and all that. And all I can say, man, vigor. Korea equals vigor. I think that's the most important thing that we learned out of yesterday.
Yeah, it's a really popular mon here in Korea. We're seeing it a lot more than maybe in the Americas right now. And it is still being used, of course, there pretty heavily. But here it's really, really heavy how much we're seeing the vigor. So really exciting to see how that's going to pan out, how players maybe kind of – we're seeing it banned a lot as well. So that's kind of how players are playing around it, I'd say, is they're just outright banning it more than anything. But it's still been really exciting so far, and a lot of Sierra too, I believe.
Yeah. So I'll get a little bit into the stats right now. Sierra has been the most picked unit out of the whole tournament, combining Korea and Japan, a total of 32 times.
Wow, 32 times. That is nuts. I was surprised we've even played that many games, to be honest. All right, so here are your overview for this thing. All right, you guys know what's up if you've been watching. $210,000 total across the entire world prize pool. Here, if you're winning your region, you get $10,000 USD. That is a nice chunk of change. We already did Japan. We got Shiki and Tsubasa coming through from there, Tanaka Tsubasa, and they did really, really well. Now we have Korea. We've already got Charmy, who played really, really interesting yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Charmy, he had a draft that we did criticize at first because it didn't make a lot of sense, but they did somehow work. But I must say, after that, his draft has been on point. Yeah,
absolutely. He had one kind of what we thought was a little wonky situation going on, but you can take a look at your bracket for today. SKIT versus LUCKYGOD, a huge match to start the day. You guys don't want to miss that. That one is going to be crazy good. In my opinion, probably 2 of the top players that people would have expected coming into this. I mean, the #1 player in the world, of course, in SKIT, LUCKYGOD. He has a lot of veteran experience in the SWC. So these guys, it's going to be, I think, a really intense battle. I would not be surprised if it goes to 3 games. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. There's so many interesting players, and there's going to be the warning, as we always have. Mr. Paper Thin saying it.
I'll take it away, guys. Hey, so SWC2020 will proceed in non-face-to-face online competition due to COVID-19. We are doing our best to hold a safe and fair competition with an online operating system suitable for each local condition. So, along with careful hygiene control and identification procedures, we're making sure everything is as safe and comfortable for our players and us as possible. So, make sure you guys, if you're out there, stay home, stay safe. Make sure you wear a mask. Wash your hands. Use some good soap and some good hand sanitizer and all these good things. And make sure you stay a little bit apart from each other as best as you can manage. And we'll get through this all together. So back over to the games. This is going to be nuts. A lot of Sierra. We already talked about that. A lot of vigor. And both of these players played a lot of that. I mean, I'm looking down the list and I see SKIT, LUCKYGOD, Sierra, a lot of Sierra. The Hathor, of course. Vigor's in there a lot, especially for SKIT. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this one pans out.
Yeah, to be exact in terms of percentages, Sierra has been picked in 64% of the matches, which is the most out of any other unit in the game so far, and it also has a 57% win rate. So this unit is absolutely broken almost, but there's something even more outstanding than that to me was Vigor was picked 26 times, only 6 times less than Sierra, and he's actually had a 72% win rate.
Wow. I mean, when he's in there, when he doesn't get banned, you can see why he's often getting post-banned because he is really, really, really difficult to handle. I mean, that speed buff, the heal, the crit reduction, all of those things are just incredible. He brings such a versatile kit and the armor break. Let's not forget that. Maybe the most important part of his kit in some ways. He is crazy, crazy powerful right now.
Yeah, I mean, 72%, like, what kind of game allows it? That's really insane win rate. Like, things get instant nerfed when it's like that, you know?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe they'll find a way to play around it that doesn't involve just outright banning it. Maybe somebody's got something up their sleeve to deal with it. We'll find out. Some other interesting things to look at coming into our first match. I like LUCKYGOD. He did like the Filaria. He went for that in all 3 matches. It did get banned in the very last match against SECONDBABY, and that ended up being the match where he ended up losing the second one. So Filaria seems to be pretty powerful overall right now. What do you think's going on there?
Honestly, I feel like Filaria is a decent unit, but I don't think it's like a crazy powerhouse unit either. So I think you really got to pick it in the right situations to get the most usage out of her. So I hope that we get to see her not being picked up just because she's a nice support unit, but because it actually counters the opponent team. And SKIT and LUCKYGOD are players that have been the favorites for many people coming in, right? Because those are names we recognize. We know they got really good runes and monsters, and they're going to be facing off against each other.
It's crazy. I mean, what a match to start the day. So I can't wait to get into this one. It is going to be SKIT versus LUCKYGOD for game number 1, match number 1 of the losers round quarterfinals. You can see there the last picks and bans for SKIT. He does have that light dark Nat 5 now. He finally got one. He got the Tianlang. He got that light panda.
Yeah, Tianlang, he's been picking it, I believe, almost every single game. It is a very powerful unit. It has the armor break, and unlike Molong, he's got elemental neutral, so to say, against everything, so he can land them very consistently. Stun, strip, very good unit.
Yeah, absolutely, really, really powerful. He plays it all the time in his RTA matches online as well. So this guy really, really trying to utilize his new Mon as much as he can. You can take a look at some of the highlights yesterday here, Peter.
Yeah, Tsarian, this guy, he named himself. He put it into everyone's mind pretty much because he was used so many times, and whenever he came out, he was super effective.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful right now with a lot of the kind of meta Mons having really powerful passives. You need something to deal with that, and sometimes you can get away with various versions of like multiple attackings depending on what it is, but the easy answer, the blunt force answer, Oblivion.
Yeah, Oblivion. There are so many passives around these days, like, Ragdoll, Jaeger. There's just so many things that this guy is good at countering. Not only that, he's tanky, he does damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see him again today.
All right, his opponent, LUCKYGOD. Really, you can see liking the Vigor. Of course, Sierra, Savannah still very popular, no doubt about Hathor. You can see that actually the Filaria ended up banned. He was pre-banning Gianna against SECONDBABY, as that was one of the light darks that he had available. So it's going to be really fascinating to see what LUCKYGOD is thinking coming into this one.
thing with Lucky God is he is one of those players here who has one of the best monster box diversity. He's got some really good light dark nat 5s. I believe he should have most, if not all, of the elemental nat 5s. This guy, I'm pretty sure that he's coming in today like, all right, yesterday I didn't really get to show much of them. Today I'm gonna make sure I really get to show off my monsters.
Well, I'm really curious to see what he does. I believe he has a pattern available, if I'm not mistaken, according to our notes here. And we didn't get to see that at all yesterday, and it wasn't even banned from what I've seen. So kind of interesting to see if he might go for that. That seems to be a really powerful, Dark Net 5 that comes out from time to time. He does have a Ragdoll. I believe he has a Gianna as well.
Hey, Paper Thin, you just made Lucky God sad because it actually says that's his wish monster pattern.
That's his wish one.
Yeah. So he really wants it, and you're like, oh, rubbing it into it. He has a pattern. I wonder why he's not taking
Yeah,
it.
now he wants it. Now I understand what he wants. He wants it. Game number 1 coming at you here. It is going to be Lucky God against SKIT, and it is going to be the Gianna band from SKIT and the Ganymede band from Lucky God.
Yeah, Gany is a very, very powerful support to Hathor, as we know. I believe it's going to be most likely a Hathor first pick here coming out of Lucky God because he doesn't like SKIT getting his comfort picks.
Absolutely. We saw that in the final game against SECONDBABY. He did first pick Hathor there, so will that be the same thing coming through for him? We're just waiting to find out if that is going to be indeed what he wants to do. Really taking his time to think about this one. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Usually the first round, you're right, he does go for the Hathor. Usually the first one, they kind of have a plan in mind, and it's pretty fast. But he's taking some time around. Velajewel and Vigor going to be the counter picks from SKIT.
Yep, there's a power pick that we talked about. Vigor, one of the most picked units here in the Korean region, as well as boasting an insane win rate. So that's going to be a very strong pickup for SKIT here. He also has the Velajewel, which puts a lot of hindrance on Hathor. So now Lucky God, he's going for the Sierra potentially. He is thinking about it. Another very popular unit. She is very often comboed with Hathor and Fran as an immunity against Vigor.
Detra there for just a second. No. Juno going to be, again, Juno, another one that we saw with some monstrous win rates.
Yeah, Juno and Molly. So SKIT's going to be playing a bit of a more slow type of match. And Juno actually has a 100% win rate so far. When she was picked into these comps with a lot of supports, she ended up solo carrying versus many of them. The artifacts that these players have on Juno, we can really see that they invested hard.
All right, Chow, once again, we got to see him once yesterday. SKIT thinking about Savannah as the final pick to come through here. SKIT really liking the Light Dark Mermaids. Molly and both the other one, Beta, have been really popular in his picks. So, he's switching it over.
Yeah, to Singja. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, so I'm just going to go with Wind Monkey. And the reason why he went for that is because Chow and Barbara, right, you got to bring some wind threats. Otherwise, your team could get dominated by water, so I do like that pick coming out of him. Lucky God, if you are on his side, what are you scared of? Is it the Wind Monkey, the Velajewel? He says it's a Wind Monkey, and Barbara's going to be taken out for Lucky God.
All right, so Xingje out. And then Barbara down here as well. This one should be pretty interesting. The Chow got a little bit of play yesterday, so we haven't seen a ton, but it seems like all the Dragon Knights are fairly popular in the meta right now.
Yeah, Dragon Knights are some really hard carries coming in, and with the Wind Monkey gone, that allows him to really shine here. So I'm very excited to see how hard this Chow will be hitting throughout the match as Hathor gets first turn. He wants to be stripping the Velajewel. We know, okay, he's not even going to try.
Just wants that sleep, and he gets it on both of the units that don't have those will runes, so, all right.
I'm confused. I'm very confused right now. I don't understand the point of that skill 3. But anyway, Sierra just going to lay out the bomb. He's going to have to detonate now because he doesn't want to waste the attack buff bomb. I guess he did it to just throw off the speed tuning on the side of SKIT. I'll give him that. That does make sense. And now Vigor cannot do armor break onto non-immunity.
Yeah, so for right now, it's going to be a lot of sustain. Get some damage from the Juno, a few dots in there, but with that Vigor and that Molly, you got to figure out a way to bust both of them down because basically coming through there early, not really changing much in terms of the face of the battle. Now Vigor coming back, gets the defense
armor break. That is huge. That's going to be a dead friend right now as Velajewel does not do enough, but the dots are there, so she is going to be going down. That does mean Lucky God's only form of immunity against Vigor is gone.
All right, now we're trying to focus down the Vigor, and yep, indeed, Fran going to succumb to those continuous damage dots. Just trading a few blows here. A little bit of poke damage back and forth. Some decent damage there from Juno. Chow coming through, and just some poke damage back and forth right now.
Yeah, LUCKYGOD's main hope right now is to get as much procs on the Sierra, land the bombs, and take out Vigor so that Skit does not have any more armor break left, and he needs the Chow to solo the rest.
All right, oh, but you do have the cleanse from Molly, and that's going to get that Vigor back nice and healthy. Shield to boast it as well. Now we have the bombs available. What do you think he's going to go for?
I mean, he obviously wants to...
Oh, no. I mean, I assumed it was going to be Vigor.
Yeah, he obviously wants to kill the Vigor because that's the main threat against this Chow right now. However, the shield's coming out to sustain, missing bombs. Things are not looking good for LUCKYGOD.
Yeah, it is really, really tough right now. And now we're getting that Sierra very focused down, continuous damage. Hurts really bad, and that's going to bring her down with that Juno. Only 2 units left here for LUCKYGOD.
Yeah, this Hathor, unfortunately, has not been useful at all throughout this game. He even misses it on Molly. He really wanted her because he doesn't want her shielding the Vigor, which is why he's just switching target to the Molly now. And the Molly sustain is making Chow useless.
Yeah, it's really, really tough right now. The stun, just to put a little salt in the wound.
Oh! Justice, 2 units down. The more allies that die, the harder it hits. We can see it adding up. It just chunks Vigor down to half.
And then it feels like it's almost nothing. He's right back up to full. It's just not enough. I mean, the Justice so powerful, and then the stun proccing. Anyway, just to make things worse here for LUCKYGOD, it is looking dire.
Yeah, the armor break not landing was really good for him, but just the raw damage output is going to be enough to most likely take out the Chow here, and LUCKYGOD concedes.
All right, so Skit, the #1 player on the RTA ladder right now, comes through with a victory. His 2nd win. Now he's looking for 1 more to move forward. And again, we talked about this a lot yesterday. He can do it. We saw UT Play almost pull off the run, the gauntlet, where he went from losing the very first match on day 1 and went all the way to the finals on day 2. Lost to Tanaka Tsubasa. But I think if anybody in the world could do it, it's got to be Skit.
Yeah, I mean, Skit came in really prepared into this. He knew that his Ganny Hathor combo is not going to be allowed for him to have so easily. So he knew, hey, if they pre-ban Ganny or Hathor and take the other, I'm going to go with like a Vigor and support comp and just out-sustain them.
Nice. Yeah, really, really smart here by Skit. Of course, we can't do the same ban. So, LUCKYGOD, do you think he's going to go for the Tian Lang ban, or is he going to try a Hathor ban instead?
Honestly, both are very viable strats, so I would say either way it works for LUCKYGOD. But now do keep in mind that the fact that Skit cannot pre-ban Gianna is going to be huge here, because Gianna tends to swing the match into its owner's favor more often than not.
Yeah, and the Molly was really a deciding factor in that one. So LUCKYGOD realizing that, kind of replanning things here. That's going to allow Skit to go to his comfort Hathor. Immediately the Ganny Chiwoo coming up next.
Yeah, we saw Ganny Chiwoo a lot yesterday. It has had some mixed up results, but I'm sure that LUCKYGOD is going to be pairing this with a Gianna most likely later on down the line. So he's going to have that double stripper. He's aiming for that turn 1. Skit is just going to come out very standard so far.
Yeah, if nothing too surprising from Skit with Vanessa and Fran. Next up for LUCKYGOD, a lot of options available. I was just going to say, does he try to steal the Vigor? Because that is something that we saw be very powerful for Skit, and it kind of forces a ban potentially because it looks so good. And then you're going to follow up with Savannah. I think that's a really good 1-2 punch there, especially if Savannah comes through with Chiwoo.
Yep, Savannah is a pretty good combo with those units, as we do see Leo come out, as well as the Rika. This is very, very smart draft by Skit here, because Leo is a unit that LUCKYGOD usually does not want to deal with in these draft circumstances, but nor does he want to deal with the Rika with no cleanse, no immunity.
Yeah, right. That Leo passive going to make it very difficult for the Chiwoo-Savannah combo to do what they want to do, and you're right, no immunity for Rika. So this is really, really challenging. He's going to go for the Rika, and then the Ganymede is going to be banned on LUCKYGOD's side.
Yeah, we saw the 75% win rate on Rika just now, and it makes sense because players usually tend to pick her up when they see an opportunity that the opponent doesn't have cleanse and whatnot. So LUCKYGOD just going to ban her out. I do agree with that. However, this Savannah will not be reducing attack bar anymore.
Yeah, it's really, really tough for Savannah right now. That Leo's so good against her. Let's see if we can still overcome it here for Skit, and you're just going to start focusing her down. She does, regardless, do a lot of damage. She's still scary.
Yeah, he's going to need triple stun out of this Gianna here. The stuns are going to come in so clutch for him as he tries to go for it, and misses the Vanessa. Okay, that's fine. I don't think Vanessa was an important target there. He got what mattered, and now Savannah gonna follow up with the armor break, setting up some potential damage for Viger as only Leo gets armor broken.
Oh boy, yeah, that's a little bit challenging now. What's he gonna do? He's just gonna go for the armor break. He's gonna get it this time onto Vanessa. Vanessa very hurt. Want to get her down, get that passive of hers out of the way if possible.
Yeah, I mean, that Vigor did not do enough damage to take out the Vanessa, meaning that Fran's going to be able to heal the Vanessa right back up. Things are looking pretty good for Skit here.
All right, we do have Gianna's turn. She's thinking about it. She is going to go for the bomb onto Fran, is going to land it. Going to try to get some more damage onto Vanessa. A decent amount. She's a little hurt. Now we're going to go for the sleeve attack.
Yeah, that Gianna was on crit rate. We saw her crit 3 times, meaning this Gianna's going to be cycling throughout the match. That means the skill 3 is going to be always up for the Fran skill 3. So Skid actually in for a bit of trouble right now as some sustain comes out of Vigor. Savannah looking real healthy as Vanessa goes down.
All right, yeah, that's it for Vanessa. Bomb still on top of Fran. Now we're going through with the delayed promise. And yeah, you get a decent amount of sleep there. 3 sleeps. Gianna missed though.
Yeah, so right now what he needs to do is make full usage out of the sleep, utilize the Leo to get as much damage done onto Gianna as possible, and there's going to be the sleep coming out.
All right, there we go. Now everybody's asleep, and now he can start kind of figuring out his plan of attack coming forward. You don't really have much value out of the heal from Fran in this one, so you got to go for that attack, get the attack debuff, and now we're coming through with some decent damage. Not a ton there.
Oh, that I would say that's a ton, though. Okay. That was a pretty heavy hit. Gianna right now, she's got a dot on her. I would say one more hit out of Leo, and she is a goner, as Gianna is going to be going for the triple crit. However, Leo cuts in just in time to take her out. This is going back and forth.
Yeah, this is a really, really interesting battle right now. Nothing really doing there. Some poking going on between the two, keeping that attack debuff onto Savannah. Now you're going to get the heal proc. No more healing onto Fran there. That's problematic, and you get the the Vio proc as well.
Yeah, he's switching target to Leo there because he wanted to debuff the Leo so that Fran cannot just heal herself. I like that play coming out. However, he did not get it due to the elemental disadvantage, and we see this violent Leo proccing and carrying the match super hard right now.
Yeah, it is so strong. He makes it very, very difficult. We're just going to go for the sleep proc. Maybe if we're lucky. Nope, not this time around. From Chiwoo, and now we're over to her sweet dreams indeed, and it does get the passive procced, and then we're gonna get Fran buffing up. Here we go. Everybody's just buffing, getting ready for this next attack. Decent damage there.
Skid is in a really good position right now because this Savannah has not been very useful throughout the game because of Leo's passive being up, and once she is down, Vigor is his only chance of coming back, and Leo kind of just eats Vigor.
Yeah, and he's actually gonna he's just going to tap out. It's going to be Skit taking it, and he takes the match. So this one did not go well for LUCKYGOD. A quick and easy 2-0 for Skit.
Yeah, I agree with that conceit there. There was really no way back for LUCKYGOD at that point. I must say that he had a really good draft coming into it. It's just that when Skit picked up Leo and Rika, that 2-pick is what makes him the rank 1. It was such a good play that it forced LUCKYGOD into a position where all of a sudden the strategy that he was going for is not that great against Skit's comp, no matter what he bans.
It's a really tough position he put him in. I mean, backed him into a corner. That's why Skit's the #1 player in the world, and maybe just some nerves yesterday coming through for Skit. It is so different when you're playing, you're just grinding ladder on your phone, you're sitting, doing whatever. When you come to a tournament where there's money and all these other things on the line, sometimes, the mental aspect does come into play. Sometimes you're not as focused, you're not as sharp as you would like to be, but this time around, Skit looking very, very on point.
I don't mean to be that guy, Paper Thin, but you got to keep in mind that Skit did go against HWAN yesterday, the final boss of today, and that dude has some impressive monster box, and I think not having to go against 5 really crazy LDs also helped today,
That's a really good point. Yeah, this is kind of the similar situation we saw in the Japan preliminaries, where we had Shiki against UT Play early on. Shiki goes on to win the winner's side, and then UT Play goes all the way to the finals against Tanaka Tsubasa, gets knocked out there, but it's setting up to be a very similar run potentially for Skit. Maybe he can do what UT Play didn't and conquer today's final boss.
Yeah, everyone has high hopes for Skit today. Hopefully, we're going to see him get 2-0 on most of his matches. Of course, you know, everyone else is going to have a good chance against him, but Skit is probably most people's favorite because his name is out there, and especially now that he's rank 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're all really excited for this. We can't wait for the next one. Next match is going to be CRAZYMON versus PRIMA. Should be another really, really exciting match. And then after that, the winner. It'll be Skit against SECONDBABY, I believe. Yes, Skit versus SECONDBABY. That one should be really interesting because SECONDBABY did come through with the win yesterday over LUCKYGOD. So that's kind of an interesting matchup. Two players who both took down LUCKYGOD. And again, you know, SECONDBABY, newcomer. Guys, we are ready to take a break. We're going to be back. Next up, again, CRAZYMON versus PRIMA. Of course, we have codes coming up. Don't worry, stick around. They'll be here. We know how much you love them. We love them
Hey,
too.
stick around for us too, Peter and Paper Thin.
You know, maybe.
Maybe one day.
You know, you're much better looking than me, so stay
No
for it.
way.
Okay, we'll be back, guys. Stay tuned.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
inside. Sing the limit now. You like what you see. Lost in modern life. Then get on with this adventure. Get into this game with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching for ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Trust in me when I tell ya. Waking if I was in ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching for ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Trust in me when I tell ya. Waking if I was in ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching ya.
Hello, Summoner.
Hello, Summoner.
Hi, Summoners.
Hello, Summoners.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
And we are back. SWC 2020, the Korea prelims. It's the last day of the Korea prelims. This is the last chance for some of these players. LUCKYGOD out, but SKIT continues on after our first match of the day. Match number 2 coming at you here. CRAZYMON against PRIMA. And CRAZYMON, he did do pretty well against JUJU. It was a 1-2, and they were close games, but at the end of the day, he does fall, and he has to face PRIMA now.
Yeah, another Gianna user up in here. He is going to be a powerhouse to deal with for PRIMA here. As we know, PRIMA, he's got some units like Han and whatnot, but he doesn't have a Gianna, so he can't really be contesting that.
Yeah, absolutely. He does not. He can't contest that except for banning it. He does have Wunsa as well, does PRIMA. So that could be something we see out of him. Let's take a quick look at these highlights between CRAZYMON and JUJU.
Alright, so we have some Tarnis and Artemil. We do remember how devastating the Ganymede and Tarnis combo was. The infinite revives, as we called it. And this guy, definitely don't give him that combo again, right? Because he also likes to combo with Ileana.
Yeah, and that Elsharian pick actually was pretty useful in that situation as well. But yeah, Ileana, a very, very popular pick here for CRAZYMON. He loves that. He loves that Mon. Who doesn't? She's nuts. That Neostone agent, so good. All that defense that she could provide. And then over to PRIMA, and like you mentioned, he does have Han. He does have Wunsa as well. So this guy, he's got some scary picks in there.
Yeah, I mean, Wunsa and Gianna, they're both fantastic strippers. The only difference is that Wunsa kind of almost guarantees you the first turn because of his crazy base speed, and Gianna having a tiny bit more useful skill 3, I would say.
All right, this is the highlights that we saw. Charmy versus Prima. Charmy coming out ahead in this one, and we will be seeing Charmy later on because he was the one who went through, so we get to see him. He was your eventual winner there over Prima. So Prima had a very tough opponent to start with.
Yeah, Prima is going to be able to show off his different types of strategies again here today. We know he likes the aggressive draft. He's been picking a lot of Barbara, a lot of Han Sierra, along with that Hathor. And unfortunately for him, he did make a huge misplay against Miho yesterday, and I'm sure that's eating away at his mind. So he's going to be coming in here today, refreshed, and we're most likely not going to see any more misplays out of him.
All right, we are excited for this one. It's match number 2 here in the losers round of the Korea prelims. Chiwoo and Ragdoll going to be your bands.
Yep, CRAZYMON also got that Ragdoll to pair with the Gianna, and Ragdoll's not a unit that Prima likes to deal with. It's certainly not a unit that any of us likes to deal with, so we are happy to see that pre-ban up in here. Prima, that Chiwoo being down means Wunsa is going to be his go-to option as the main stripper.
Yeah, and so Ganny Sierra, a very popular combo here in the Korea region, comes out right away as the counter pick for CRAZYMON. Now, yeah, Wunsa available. Will he just go right into it right now? He does have that Han available as well, does Prima. Let's see what he's thinking right now. There's the Han.
And they have great synergy too, because Han does provide a speed leader only for dark units, which is why Wunsa is. So that's going to be a potential speed leader setup for a Wunsa coming in later. Definitely, as we see Okeanos and Hathor come out, this is a very aggressive CC type of draft that does need some type of strong stripper. And now CRAZYMON, he already knows what's coming. When you see this type of draft, you have to form some type of strategy to counter it. Otherwise, if you get outsped, things could be bad. So he does come in with the Taranis here. A very interesting pick. He wants to use that to deal with the Han. And the first beta we're seeing a form of immunity.
Yeah, she's got immunity. She's got a revive as well. So Beta, very powerful. You've got double revives available with that Tyrannus, plus the Ganymede. We could see that infinite combo again, potentially, depending on what's banned. Wunsa being thought about, and then Prima going for that second pick. What will his final one be here?
I mean, he's got only one stripper other than like Hathor and Oki having those single target strips. So he does pick another stripper with that combo through the Daphnis. This does mean that there's only one speed leader on the side of Prima, but it doesn't really seem like CRAZYMON is trying to play speed for speed. Unless that beta is like on Swift Runes. She does have a fantastic base speed, so that could be the case. As we see Abellio coming out for the first time, this is a lot of investment being made against dying from Han and Daphnis.
Well, if you ban the Sierra here, there isn't a lot of damage. There's a ton of sustain for CRAZYMON. I mean, so this is kind of an interesting situation.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He does have the Druids for the damage, but they do very, very slow damage, and they usually need to get to more of a mid-game to actually get something killed. So we are going to be seeing actually Abellio going out. He doesn't like what that unit brings to the table. It is very good against his Daphnis, Oki as well. So, all right, I'll take that ban.
Yeah, that makes sense. Abellio is pretty wild. He can really go hog wild if you get some procs and some healing, and I mean with Beta in there too and Tyrannus, I mean things could get really crazy really fast, and we will see. It is going to be Han being picked as the leader and Sierra, as you would more or less expect here, as we get ready for game number 1 between CRAZYMON and Prima.
Yeah, Prima's most likely going to be grabbing the first turn here as Wunsa with that crazy base speed. We see the better speed. She is slow, so she's going to be on Violent Runes as he lands every single strip, followed by Okeanos. This skill 3 tends to troll sometimes, but I'm sure it won't because it's against triple wind, and it does miss, but I'm sure that's not going to hurt him too badly as Han's just going to follow up, try to armor break, and he does land it on the last hit into skill 2, and that is a dead Sierra.
Yeah, it is really nice, but don't forget, there is Tyrannus and Beta, so it's not over just yet. You can bring those Mons back, no problem, depending on how things go, but another stun coming out of it is Tyrannus here, but over to Daphnis.
And he's just going to go for the Ganny here most likely, because I don't see why else he would have reset the Tyrannus, given that Ganny can just ventilate him. So here we are, seeing the damage coming out. Will it do enough? No, it does not do enough. So Wunsa right now, he's got to go for a clutch damage here, and that's Ganny down.
Okay, that's 2 down, but there's still the revives available. Beta's turn around. Is that going to be the option that we're going to go for?
Yeah, he has to do that there because Han procced earlier. He's got skill 3 up again. This unit is absolutely cycling through this game right now, but he's just going to save it because he doesn't want to use it now.
Yeah, in the immunity, yeah, the right call there for sure. And now we're just trying to get this Tyrannus beat down as much as possible with the poking. And there you go. Now finally you're able to use that Beta skill to bring the Ganymede back, and now you're trying to get that Tyrannus going again.
Yeah, he did that at a really great timing here because he managed to lock down the Han, meaning that Ganymede can get off his skill 3 here, and he really would have liked the proc to ventilate the Tyrannus, but no such luck for now, as Wunsa just going to be able to do some massive damage or choose to go for the sleep. He tried, but no luck.
Okay, yeah, still suffering from the skill reset. There you go. Now we can get the ventilate onto the Tyrannus, and then we're going to continue to try to go down, and there's the additional turn. Not really a big deal there for Beta at this moment.
Yeah, keep in mind these stuns on Han are so huge. This Tyrannus keeps stunning in every turn, and it's been keeping him alive as he has no immunity. However, Han is going to finally get a shot at moving here, and he is going to absolutely demolish a unit.
Okay, the skill block down there, not
Oh,
too
there
major.
we
Here
go.
Han coming in, and he does some big damage.
And the attack bar, he's going to be able to follow up right now. Going for that skill 2 on Tyrannus. He's going to try to finish him off. I don't think this will do enough damage unless it's very high damage, and it was almost enough.
Yeah, and then you have to go for the Serenity from Beta again to keep things alive, keep things moving, and then you can get it, but it's resisted that time around. Hellfire coming through, and that's going to be enough to finish the job onto Tyrannus.
Yeah, very smart play from Prima there. There was no reason to switch target to Beta. He just needs to get rid of the Tyrannus, and he's pretty much securing himself to win. One important thing to keep in mind for the next match is that Prima's Daphnis is on Violence, meaning that skill 3 is going to be cycling very, very fast. I really like Prima's strategy.
Yeah, Prima really coming through here with some really nice ideas. Basically perfectly executed from top to bottom, and now this is just we're waiting for the end here as we've only got a sliver of health left on Beta. Yes, you can bring the Tyrannus back. I guess there's still maybe some kind of hope, but it's not enough with Han there. He's gonna finish the job, and Prima takes game number 1.
I like how you were trying your best to, like, you know, explain what's going on, describe what's going on, but I would have just described it with one word. Just tragedy. That's all.
I'm trying to give them some kind of glimmer of the 0.001% chance that there's some kind of comeback.
Hey,
you never
that's
know.
a great mindset to have. That is a great mindset. Never give up, right? But
Never give up, never surrender. That's how I play.
yeah, but unfortunately in Summoner's War, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are just too far behind in the situation to come back from. And now we saw Prima, as we talked about earlier, he has most of his damage dealers on Violent Runes, it seems. That's going to be coming in really, really clutch for him. As we see the Wunsa getting banned, it does hinder Prima's chance of getting that first turn, because I'm sure Wunsa is one of his best runed units. So I'm very excited to see what CRAZYMON's going to be first picking here away from Prima.
All right, he does have the Ragdoll available, but the Hathor coming out first, just like it did for Prima last time, so stealing that pick this go around. And Prima has some rebuttal time now. What are you thinking here, Peter?
I mean, Prima, we've seen his strategy is always pretty aggressive, whether that's through CC or bringing raw damage output. But with this Wunsa down and Hathor taken away, he says, I'm just going to go with a bit of a more safer pick that gives me a diverse team comp later on. And wow, Escher coming out. That is the first time we're going to be seeing Escher here. And this unit also has a very fast base speed. All the werewolves at the Second Awakening form do. And I believe we're going to be seeing a lot of Hathor control on the side of CRAZYMON.
Wow, okay, so that light werewolf coming out, and then looks like Han Mali going to be the counter pick for Prima. And then now, this is a really interesting one. CRAZYMON going for some, and there's the Miho.
I mean, there's like a lot of really weird picks coming out from CRAZYMON right now. Not very standard, as we would call it. And honestly, I'm trying to think of it, like I'm trying to put them together and see how does it actually synergize together. And I'm not so sure right now, as he is hovering over the double druids. He is going to lock that in. My only question is, how effective is this Escher gonna be, really?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm not sure. I thought he might go for the Miho because we did see PRIMA get thrown off by it yesterday, but you kind of got to assume that PRIMA's going to be able to recover from that. Okeanos going to be the last pick here for PRIMA.
Yeah, I really like that Okeanos pick here. Great synergy with Ganymede. Also a way to deal with all the revives on the side of CRAZYMON, as well as potentially Hathor if he is scared of that. And I must say, though, the main difference between Escher and Vigor is that Escher does not have a armor break, so CRAZYMON, he's gonna have to really rely on Vanessa armor break to get any meaningful damage done.
Okay, we'll find out if he can do that. Vanessa and Okeanos gonna be the bans. Yeah, Okeanos just so powerful if he can land some of those stuns and other effects that we saw last time. Synergizes with the Ganymede like Peter mentioned, but we do have both of the Druids coming through this time.
Yeah, we see the double Druid in action finally against the Han. We're about to see how effective it is at shutting down his crazy combos. Escher with the first turn makes sense because this guy is usually ruined on very fast, potential Swift type of builds. As now Hathor going to follow up thanks to the attack power boost. He goes for the strip on Ganymede and he lands it.
All right, big start there, and now we're coming through with the Forest of the Living. Given all that defense, just in case you get that protection to Hathor from death, but not super needed there, and you get a Molly coming up.
Yeah, that was a really deciding strip on Ganny because he really didn't want his Hathor getting reset. And now for PRIMA, he really wants to be landing a stun onto Hathor here if he can, and then Ganny following that up with the reset because taking a 2-turn sleep right now would be devastating.
All right, there's a couple of wind blows doing some damage from Abellio over to Han. His chance to make use of his talents. He's very powerful. There is that crit rate thing, so he's going to go over, gets the defense break onto
Come on,
Abellio.
please tell me you're going to stun Hathor. You have to. Okay, very smart coming out of PRIMA. That was just like an absolutely perfect play coming out, as Ganny can now follow that up with the reset on Hathor. Sleeps will not be coming out anytime soon. He's got the strip. He can try to attempt to kill the Abellio, set things up for his Han.
Yeah, the Molly didn't get her strip on her skill 1 that go around. Now we're coming over with the Vigor with his skill 1, doing a bit of damage, get the unrecoverable on there as well. He gets a proc as well now, so big time damage coming through with that defense break.
Yeah, keep in mind there is no cleanse on the side of CRAZYMON. That heal block coming out of Vigor really countering this Abellio's effectiveness right now. Usually you would want to use that skill 3er, and he does it anyways, but look at that, no healing.
Yeah, there's just no healing for poor Abellio there. Now, not the end of the world potentially, if you can get it back up with Tyrannus. Tyrannus doing some pretty big damage to Han.
Yeah, the defense buff providing big damage as Molly says goodbye to your big damage. Who cares?
Doesn't matter. Molly's there to keep it at bay. Speaking of keeping things at bay, she puts Abellio in the bay for now. Now, there is a couple options for Ganymede. Just going to go with that skill 1 on to Tyrannus, buff from Vigor over to Escher. Just going to do the same.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's a game of trying to stay alive on both sides, right? We talked about the double Druid coming out and how if there's no Vanessa, there's no armor break because Escher does not have that, which is why he is struggling so hard to take out this Han and combo with the Molly. This guy just seems unkillable.
Yeah, it's really tough. Even with the attack break on, he's still hitting pretty darn hard. Gonna get the stun as well onto Tyrannus. And now we're gonna follow up with the Vigor attack. Armor break is still on, of course, and does a bunch of damage.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't see a way for CRAZYMON to come back here. Had he had Vigor in the place of Escher there, maybe, because he can actually get crazy damage done with the Tyrannus, but as we see them trading blows, the one who's taking the brunt end of it is always going to be CRAZYMON.
Yeah, it is really difficult for CRAZYMON right now. He doesn't have any of Hathor's other skills up just yet, and you've got the Molly. It just does a bit of damage. You can heal with the Escher here, get a little bit of speed as well, but then you're going to get the cooldowns reset with Ganymede, and then you're buffing up with Vigor.
Yep, there's a simple solution coming out as he goes for the armor break and he gets it again. This does mean that the Tyrannus is going to be dead. He doesn't even need to hit it right now because Escher doesn't have his heal, but he's just going to do it for the safe play, I guess. Whatever the case, if you're on the side of CRAZYMON, honestly, you got to concede because you simply got outdrafted. You know, I liked him attempting something new with the Escher, but how he ended up combining the double Druid with him just really didn't make any sense.
Yeah, going for the safe plays with the Ventilate onto the Vigor, just keeping everything in his favor. When you're ahead, get more ahead, defense break up. now as well onto Escher. This one looking pretty well and out of hand for CRAZYMON, but he's giving it a go. He's hoping for some kind of miracle.
I don't doubt him. I don't think a miracle will be happening as we see armor break on the Escher. All that Han needs to do is just skill 1.
Yeah, this is GG at this point. Finally, it is going to be PRIMA taking the second game and the match over CRAZYMON. Another decisive 2-0.
I like how well PRIMA's picture fit into that victory screen. I'm not sure if you noticed. I'll show you later if you didn't see it. Oh, we can see it right now. There we go.
He looks really good. I mean, that's perfect. He's got the winning pose and everything. And, you know, CRAZYMON, he put up a try today, and it just didn't come through for him. Not his tournament this go-around.
Big brain strategy right there. He knows that he's going to be winning stuff, so he's already, like, preemptive posing. Like, oh, yeah. But the only problem is if he loses, then he's like, looking so happy about losing. You know?
Well, it's better than, like, the standard esports pose, which is just, like, you just go like this. Like, that's, come on. We're coming up with better stuff. I like it. I like this. That's much better. So, really interesting stuff that Han, so valuable here for PRIMA, especially paired with that Molly and that second one. You could just keep it rolling. And even with the attack break on Han, he's still coming out there doing tons of damage because of those crits.
Yeah, I mean, the Molly coming out means that you're going to have a unit that's constantly going to get healed to full HP. One Violent proc from Molly and it's pretty much full. So seeing that available on the side of PRIMA, why go double Druid is the real question, right? Because you're bringing damage that needs to just pile on top of each other to eventually get something done, but that's exactly what Molly counters. If you want to deal with Molly, you got to bring something that can more likely snipe, so to say.
Yeah, just some high burst potential. It's potentially the way to go. PRIMA! Again, 2-0 over CRAZYMON, so CRAZYMON's tournament life is over. PRIMA will be moving on to face JUJU in the next round, but our next matchup to move on, I'm really excited about it once again because it's going to be SKIT against SECONDBABY. This is probably, other than if SKIT can win this and face HWAN, whoever faces HWAN is going to be the most exciting, I feel like. So, it is, though, going to be SKIT, the #1 player in the world, coming up next against SECONDBABY. So you guys don't want to miss this match. I know a ton of you out there are big-time SKIT fans. We are too, of course. How can you not be? You want to see this guy do well. Don't forget about the codes coming up. There's 2 more, so there's plenty of action to come. Plenty of cool stuff available for you guys as well. And we are piggybacking off the KoreaCast. That's why I'm really drawing this out.
You're just like,
because I have to wait for them.
I have to wait
for them, and I have to wait for them. And it's no disrespect to them. They do a great job, and they're just explaining something. So we're trying to make our timing with them go. So we are done. We'll be back after a short break.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free. Street Fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the SWC 2020 Korea prelims. 2 players out, LUCKYGOD and CRAZYMON. Their tournament lives are over, unfortunately for them. PRIMA and SKIT moving on, both in 2-0 fashion. Very different from what we saw yesterday in our quarterfinals. It was all 2-1s, but now SKIT going up against SECONDBABY, and SECONDBABY with an impressive win over LUCKYGOD yesterday. Today, he's coming up against a tough opponent.
Yeah, I mean, they're both very tough players, and like we saw SKIT just now, he completely outsmarted his opponent in the draft phase, which got him that victory 2-0. And SECONDBABY, from what I remember yesterday, this guy also had a fantastic drafting phase. He's always had a strategy, it seemed like, whenever he came into a match.
Yeah, he's got a lot of options available. He's got a few light darks to talk about, Gianna probably being the most important. He does have a ragdoll as well, so there's some things available for him, but he's another guy, likes to pick Hathor first. Mo Long was one of his most used units against HWAN, but he did end up falling to HWAN, our eventual runner-up yesterday. He does use a Kares, Bulwark. He used those in both matches against HWAN as well. So there's a lot of options here for SECONDBABY. He's very versatile.
You know what would be funny? If his dad was like, "Oh, son, you did so good yesterday, and I really want you to win this," and they were just shoving light dark packs yesterday like crazy, preparing for today, and now you coming in here today, and it's like, wait a minute, this guy has patter all of a sudden. Whoa!
Early Christmas present, a very early Christmas present, maybe. I would take that. Maybe that's what I'm going to ask my parents for Christmas this year, some Google Play points.
Another whale year in the making. Soon we're going to be seeing paper thin and SWC.
That would be nice. I'd love that. But yeah, I've got a ways to go. I've got a long ways to go. SECONDBABY though, he is here right now, and honestly, I was really excited to see this guy come through. I mean, our youngest player by far in the tournament, and he won. He won over LUCKYGOD. That's huge. Again, likes Hathor, like SKIT does. So this first pick, Hathor, might see some contention, possibly some bans.
Yeah, I mean, Hathor, very strong contested pick throughout the whole tourney. Whatever player you have, whatever playstyle you have, you're usually going to be playing around Hathor unless you're HWAN, and you got pretty much everything that's better than Hathor, as we see the pre-ban, just as you said, and Gianna.
Yeah, Gianna, not too surprising. One of the light dark nat 5s available for SECONDBABY. He still does have a ragdoll, so going to be interesting to see if that one comes out. Quick first pick of Gani from SKIT, so kind of transferring over, and then the Vigor Molly instantly locked in for SECONDBABY.
Yeah, very strong duo. They have a good early game, and it just stays consistent throughout the whole game. They're constantly providing good utility for the team, as we have Sierra and Gani, very standard triplet, so to say, Velojewel and Ragdoll. I really like how SECONDBABY's team is coming together right now. It has a very strong bruiser synergy.
Yeah, Savannah picked up by SKIT. Is he going to go for Jingjae? No, it is going to be Tianlang as his final pick. He does love that panda. And Rika coming out here, so does that mean we're going to see the Fran ban if he locks this in?
1000% it is going to be the Fran ban here. No brainer, as Skit knows it too, and he just straight up bans Arika. Hey, I know your strategy and I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that by Baby. He comes through and he just says, I know you're going to ban this, so I want these other 4 to go through. He kind of forces that into play.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very smart plays coming out as the strip on Savannah. Super crucial because that immunity would have made Skit's Sierra not as useful, and all of a sudden, Sierra's a massive threat.
All right, there is a lot of sustain going on here between Molly and Vigor. And then, of course, there's the Ragdoll to make things really scary. Bomb going to be put on the Velajul. It is going to explode, doing pretty big damage, and the stun.
Yeah, Velajul is a defense-type monster, so it does not have a very good sustainability against the bombs. So he's going to be really preying on the Molly to keep his team healthy. As Savannah goes for the armor break, and he gets none.
Oof. Big oof there on that one. That's not what you want to see. Just a little chip damage there from the Tianlang. We're going to ventilate the Sierra. We want those bombs coming up as much as we can. Anything, we're going to go for the break. We do not get it onto Tianlang. He is very tanky.
Yeah, but the Vigor gets a proc, so that does mean that the heal is going to be up, as well as the skill 3 sooner, as a bomb comes out onto the Vigor, and he's just going to go for the crits, getting some attack bar, which of course boosts Tianlang's attack bar as well. And there's the armor break. Savannah's going to... Okay!
Oh! We got a big one coming through. Is this going to finish the job? Not quite.
Yeah, the Savannah was too tanky, but the Molly glancing came in so big there, it prevented the Wolf from dying.
Huge, huge moment there. He's still up and running. The punishment coming down on the Tianlang. We're going to get the health back up for the Vigor, and now we're going to just take it away.
Yeah, I mean, that Molly glancing, man, all of a sudden, it would have been a 3v3 situation, but as the Sierra says, I'm going to continue to make use of the armor break, misses the bomb. However, Vigor is going to go down here anyways. There's not enough sustain, and he's just going to go for the detonation.
All right, so now it's a 3v3 right now as we return focus. Stun coming down onto Velajul here. So with the focus back onto Tianlang, and we are going to find out exactly what we're going to reset the cooldowns there and to get a little attack bar push.
Yeah, he wants that cleanse to not be available because he wants the bombs to stick around as he gets a crucial proc. This Sierra is hard carrying right now as Velajul cannot put up Sanctuary anytime soon given that Molly's cleanse is down and he is also locked down.
Wow, this is a really interesting play here so far from Skit. He's getting a lot of things to go his way, and bye-bye Velajul. Big explosion.
Yeah, that proc out of Velajul was not what Second Baby wanted, as Sierra has another bomb here. He's just going to go ahead and have to lay it out on the Ragdoll because he needs to get the maximum usage out of Sierra.
And there it goes. The Ragdoll is down. Molly, not a whole lot she can do. Skit takes the game, and he is undefeated on the day so far. He is over Second Baby by 1, and now Second Baby 1 loss away from being removed from this tournament.
Yeah, when I saw that 20% glancing at chance on Molly's passive come through, I was like, oh man, Skid, I felt you there. That was really unfortunate. However, Sierra came in so clutch for him, getting the procs, not landing all the bombs, but enough bombs to get the job done.
Yeah, and really, really good timings. Locking down that Velajul, really crucial. And then you reset, you use that Seal of Magic on the Molly so there's no cleanse available, and then you can make sure that those bombs are coming through when you do get them.
Yeah, that's a very good point because that was absolutely a deciding moment in the game. Had Velajul gotten the Sanctuary off, that game could have gone very differently.
Yeah, really interesting battle there between Skit and Second Baby. This time around, Ragdoll and Leo going to be your pre-bans, as that Ragdoll, a little scary, even though Skit won. It kind of made things very interesting there, knocking out 2 of Second Baby's Mons.
Yeah, this is kind of showing Second Baby's draft style right now. I can tell that he might want to go with something like a Gianna and Savannah type of lineup because I don't see why else he would pre-ban Leo right from the get-go, as Skit's going to say, hey, I know you want to try those type of cheesy comms. I may just end up going with a Chiwu or Molly. He's thinking about it, and it's a Molly.
Molly indeed, so a contested pick between these two. Gianna indeed going to be available this time, although switching over to the Chiwu right now, maybe rethinking how the order of things, maybe getting Gianna out this early he might feel like there's too many counter picks available for Skit, or Skit's just too too knowledgeable against it.
Yeah, Gianna definitely has a lot of counters, and they're also kind of really mind-gaming each other because we got to keep in mind that Chiwoo has been a unit that Skit has been relying on so much throughout the season. That is why he picked it up before the Gianna as Savannah comes through, and given that Leo's not available as a counter, Skit is going to be putting in the Vertihowl. It is a very strong unit against the double AoE coming out of Chiwoo and Savannah.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good. He likes the Velajewel this time, so borrowing a couple picks here from SECONDBABY. Now SECONDBABY feels comfortable enough to go for the Gianna. He has the Chiwoo Savannah available. Really likes the Savannah. He's talked about that in his pre-game interviews. One of his favorite Mons right now is Savannah. And then the last pick for SECONDBABY. He's thinking about the Vigor. Is he going to lock it in? Yes, he does.
Yeah, Vigor. Very, very consistent unit all around. Fits into pretty much all the teams that we have seen so far. As once again, the Wind Monkey King, he is thinking about it. He sure loves that unit, man.
He really keeps teasing us with it. He is going to go for the Rika, as there is no immunity available here for SECONDBABY. And we've seen it time and time again. If that Rika gets through, it is problematic. So it is going to be the ban, and then the Vigor going to be banned on the side of SECONDBABY.
Yeah, I absolutely feel for SECONDBABY right now. It's actually kind of annoying how Skit keeps going with that Rika last pick, because it forces you to go for a ban on her, and it shuts out whatever strategy you had beforehand, because now it is a risk move with these skill 3s coming out. Vertihowl looking very scary with the potential revenge procs. However, it did not proc just yet.
Okay, nothing going there. Stun and sleep onto Hathor, and then Chiwoo, not really that important. Oh, baby!
The armor break was crucial. However, the counter that we talked about is just going to cleanse everything.
Yeah, that revenge proc, big time from Ver. Now we're over. We're going to ventilate the Gianna. We want those bombs as often as possible. Now we have to wait for the immunity to go away. Delay promise coming through here, and everybody's asleep.
Yeah, right now, Skit's just going to try to cycle turns as units on SECONDBABY are sleeping. He chooses Savannah as his first target to kill, which makes a lot of sense as he gets the procs to bring her down.
Yeah, she's getting really, really weak right now. She's even, to make matters worse, got that attack debuff on there as well. She's coming through doing a little bit of damage, but nothing substantial to Hathor, working her down to her passive. And now we continue to settle the score with Savannah while everyone else takes a nap.
Yeah, this is looking really brutal for SECONDBABY here. If you look at his team comp, his main carry was Savannah. Now his only hope left is going to be the Gianna, but how effective is she going to be into Velajewel Vertihowl? Not very much.
not she's getting slept all the time. She's been barely awake. She's gotten the one bomb off. That's it. Immunity up from the Velajewel. And now we're over to Chiwoo. He can strip this. He is going to go for it, and he's going to get it on everybody but Verd.
Yeah, this is looking very rough right now as Skit's just going to go ahead and change target to the Gianna. That's the only unit he's got to kill because that is the only scary unit left on the side of SECONDBABY.
Yeah, I just don't know what he can do. There isn't much to keep this Gianna healthy or alive, and he's just gonna punch out. That's it. Skit in another very fast 2-0 over SECONDBABY, continues to run this gauntlet, and he is fighting.
Yeah, I like Skit's strategy. I'm reading his mind right now, and I get that he likes to play countering what the opponent picks, and he does it in such a well-mannered fashion that he forces the opponent to already feel like they need to ban something. For instance, Vertihowl that game. And he ends up coming in with the Rika last pick very frequently, forcing the opponent to ban it, and it's the same strategy as we saw in that Leo Rika game.
He's reading his opponent so well today, and I think he had a lot of time to kind of sit back, think about things after his early loss yesterday, and he's coming back very strong, as we kind of expected from the #1 player in the world. So this is exciting stuff. Skit with another 2-0 here over SECONDBABY. But SECONDBABY, man, what an impressive performance coming out in his very first SWC as a young player.
Yeah, we talked about how this guy always has a strategy coming in. You usually do not see all the players pre-banning already, setting up for their draft, because that's what that Leo was for, right? He knew he was going to use Savannah that game. That was going to be his main carry, but unfortunately his opponent was Skit, who also tends to be a very smart player in the draft.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt by SECONDBABY SECONDBABY, but the veteran experience of SKIT coming through in the end on this one. But you know, if you're for baby, you got to take him out for a nice barbecue dinner or something, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
he played well.
Absolutely, man. And now we see SKIT getting that confirmed 2-0 victory over SECONDBABY. Moving on.
Yeah, man. It's really, really exciting because SKIT is going to play whoever wins the next game between PRIMA and JUJU. So both of those players probably watching these matches very closely because they're trying to get a read on SKIT because right now it seems like he's got a read on everybody.
Yeah, the funny thing is, PRIMA made a big mistake yesterday. JUJU also made a big mistake yesterday, if you remember the Mephisto and Perna. So these two players, they're both having a chance to redeem themselves today. I feel like PRIMA already has. He's been making very smart plays and draft. And now the question is, JUJU, how much focusing have you done since yesterday?
I mean, JUJU, yeah, that's right. He was the Mephisto Perna situation in the second round. He made it through the first round, which is the interesting thing about JUJU. He played well, and then he comes through and he just fell apart there. Mentally, I would say that's just a huge, huge blunder. He does have an Artemil available, does JUJU. So are we going to see that? Probably going to be banned a lot as we kind of expect, but we will be back after another break here at the SWC 2020.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
Summoner.
Hi, Summoners.
Hello, summoners.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Even bonus. Get Ken for free.
Welcome back, Summoners War Championship 2020 Korea preliminaries. Here we go. It is going to be PRIMA versus JUJU in our second semi-finals. These two players played well yesterday. JUJU squared off against the eventual winner of the day, Charmy. Wasn't able to come through in his second round, but he won in his very first game against CRAZYMON. PRIMA here coming out with a decisive 2-0 over that CRAZYMON. So both of these players have beat CRAZYMON. Now they square off.
Yeah, we saw PRIMA just now. We saw a little bit into his team comp, and he hasn't changed at all since yesterday. He is a very aggressive player, and I really like aggressive players.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really just going to come at you, get in your face. That Han, really versatile for him. Maybe that's going to be what we see getting banned this go-around, potentially. It's been a very powerful unit for him. Molly has been very good for him as well. He's won a lot of his games with Molly.
Yeah, now the problem for PRIMA is that JUJU, we have seen him to be an Artemil player, and he likes to go with the Tarnus and Amelia, and these defense-heavy units tend to be very hard to take down, especially using units like Han. So I believe JUJU is actually going to be one of the most toughest opponents for him to deal with.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think for JUJU, he did, yeah, like I mentioned, he lost to Charmy, but he had a pretty big blunder in one of those games, a mental error, we'll call it, and then he was just, you know, shut down by the Leo counter to the Chiwu Savannah combo. So he just kind of got outplayed a bit, outsmarted by Charmy. Let's see how well he's adjusted coming into today.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the drafts on JUJU's side from these replays, and we saw that he was not really relying on Artemil and, you know, those type of comps as much. And that is some of his favorite monsters that he listed, so hopefully we see him going back to his roots, utilizing the units that brought him to where he's at today.
Yeah, absolutely. He did bring out Artemil in his very first game against CRAZYMON, actually lost where CRAZYMON brought out the Alsharian, the Tyrannus, the Ganymede, and the Chiwu. So he has proven that he is vulnerable even with that Artemil.
Yeah, I mean, Artemil, we talked about how he's a unit that you cannot pick him every single game and he'll be good there. You got to use him more of as a reactionary pick sometimes. And depending on PRIMA's lineup, you know, I'm sure if he sees Han and a lot of these very squishy damage dealers, then he's going to be picking that up as we are preparing to get into this match.
All right, PRIMA versus JUJU, the losers round 2, match 2, set 1, SKIT. Going to be their opponent, whoever comes through this. We are about to find out as the pre-ban phase coming at you. Find out exactly what these two players have in mind for the start of this game.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pre-ban options on both sides. There's not really a clear answer on this is it, this is the best pre-ban. So it really depends on what strategies they're coming in with today. And we see PRIMA pre-banning the Artemil, meaning his Han will be pretty effective here if he decides to go with it.
All right, it is available. And I believe that Ragdoll is also, no, yes, no. No, not him, not him. Sorry, I'm getting him confused with another guy.
Yeah, they're pretty similar playstyles. So.
Yeah, very much. Sorry, I believe he has another Dark Nat 5. But we'll hold the phone. We'll get to that in a minute. PRIMA, Gani, and then over to our other guy, JUJU. He has got Sierra and Velajul, and there's the Han and the Wunsa. That's what I'm thinking of. Wunsa was the other. Other one.
So this is his moment to shine. He knows that the best time to pick Han is when Artemil is not available on the board. And right now, Juju's just going to respond with the Leo, which is a pretty good response to the Wunsa here, as well as Vigor. This is just players go to unit when they don't know what to pick, pretty much.
it's just a great fill-in. Like you've mentioned, it's so versatile, has an incredible win rate here so far. You can see 15-7, 68.2% win rate. So its win rate went down a little bit here today, but still very, very high. Over to Barbara and Okeanos as the final two for PRIMA.
Yeah, Okeanos Barbara, so he's got a little bit of CC going there with the Oki. We always know that Oki and Gani combo is nothing to laugh at. Barbara being the damage dealer, that's why JUJU comes in. Hey, I'm going to bring in Diana. She's a great counter to your Barbara. She can even deal with Han somewhat. So that is going to be a pick that could work out for JUJU here.
All right, I like it. I like the idea. Always love the Diana, the Pew Pew. And we'll see where exactly the bans, the post bans, fall. We have just a few more seconds to go, really taking their time. So Han and Leo going to be banned out.
Yeah, so this means that this Diana is not going to have too much interference coming to her unless Okeanos can get the strip reset. Or, you know what? He doesn't even need to do that because I see the Wunsa there. I forgot about him. He's going to strip everything, then he's going to stun, followed by Gani domination. So PRIMA has the right strategy going for him here as Wunsa grabbing that first turn. He's got to strip everything. This is absolutely crucial, but he misses. Diana does not cut in between here. Barbara does move in front of the Okeanos, so he can go ahead and strip the Viger. Very smart, because Diana gonna get, not enough attack bar to move it before the Oki. However, Okeanos can just go ahead and strip that away. The reset does not connect.
Yeah, you just got strips for days. Seal of Magic on the Velajul. You want to keep that immunity at bay and get those attack bars out of the way as well to keep your turns rolling for PRIMA. Really set yourself up for some big CC action.
Yeah, he's just going to go for the armor break on Vigor here, and now he's going to follow up with the skill 3 out of Okeanos, and it gets everyone. This is huge right now because Gandhi's just going to give the Ventilate over to the Okeanos, meaning another turn of stuns are coming, and there was no procs out of JUJU.
Yeah, and you go there just trying to see if you can get the Wunsa proc. Not really doing. Now you're trying to focus down that Vigor. There you go. That skill 3 coming down again. Big stuns landing. And now we are just working it down. He doesn't need to finish it. He knows that the Ganymede is up next. Vigor out.
Oh.
There's the sleep on the Diana.
Yeah, that's going to buy him a lot of time to go ahead and just whittle down the other units while Diana is sleeping. Another sleep coming out.
Boom, boom. These sleeps are huge. Everybody now can focus their attention onto Sierra. Make matters worse, you can just reset her with the Seal of Magic. Now, there is a chance. We know Diana is capable of some crazy stuff. Barbara into the passive.
Yeah, Barbara into the passive. However, the attack bar, he didn't have the best read on it, so to say, because Barbara was going to cut in. There's a crit, and JUJU is gone.
Yeah, this is GG. Quick and easy for PRIMA. Really well read. All the strip in the world. Didn't matter if that Wunsa didn't get all of that will immunity off right away. There's plenty to follow up.
Yeah, I mean, PRIMA, he had everything he needed that game, and he's also been landing the stuns out of Oki, right? He did miss the reset, but that didn't matter too much because he got the ones that counts, and that was a very fast 1-0 victory.
Yeah, just really good. PRIMA looking in primo form today.
I like that. I like that
dude.
one.
Every once in a while, I got a good one in me. All right,
yeah.
Nephthys and Han going to be your bans out the gate this go around. So nobody wants that. Nobody wants that Han around. He is scary. And it totally makes sense.
Yeah, but do keep in mind that JUJU is an IT developer. He's not going to go down so easily. He's got the brain mechanics to bring himself back with the 1-1. I'm sure he's got a great team comp in mind as he secures the Hathor, and there's going to be a standard Gany response, and the second pick is probably going to be Sander too.
yeah, right. Vigor, yep, pretty standard here. Gany Vigor, so popular here in Korea and Japan. We saw it quite often as well. So over in the APAC region, very popular in the meta. Now over Tyrannus Velajuel, going to be the pickups there. Just, of course, Tyrannus very versatile, keeps him out of the hands of that Ganymede. You can see that being problematic from time to time, too.
Yeah, there's a good setup of Artemio coming through, and if there's a lot of CC on the side of Prima, he could go for the Amelia pick as well here if he is not too scared of the Bulwark. Last pick, as we see Juno coming in, this has been a unit that has been very successful. She's been winning all her games, combined with the Molly.
Yeah, why not just put two of our winningest Mons together, just get them in there, and then try to make somebody beat it, figure it out, because nobody has really figured out Molly or Juno that well. Occasionally, you'll see something be done about it, but there is two more picks. This is it. Bulwark potentially being locked in for JUJU. He's really thinking about this last one, and there you go. The Amelia, he really likes this water unicorn.
Yeah, the problem here right now is Bulwark. There's always a risk that comes with it, and it's that he is a useless monster late game. And given that Prima doesn't have too many buffs on his side, he only has Vigor for his AoE buff. I'm not really too sure about that pick currently.
Okay, it's not, yeah, we'll see. There is one more pick available for Prima. This time he wants the Diana.
Yeah, Diana's...
nope, we changed it. Oh, okay.
All right,
last second, trolling us.
Then we're going to be seeing, I believe, a Amelia ban here. He has Okeanos to deal with the Velajuel. He's got Juno even to strip. However, Amelia he cannot deal with, so that has to be a ban.
Okay, it looks like he is going to go for that. My real question is for JUJU, do you just ban the Juno here potentially? You don't want that strip available? I'm really curious because that Okeanos was really brutal last time. He's just going to say no to the Okeanos instead. Just not even mess with it.
Yeah, it does make that Gany a lot weaker here, so I do like that ban coming out onto Okeanos. Oki seems like a unit that really messes people up often, but we just saw him coming up with a 61.8% win rate. I'm very surprised by how well he's doing.
Yeah, really well here in APAC. He was much more popular of a pick in Japan, and then yesterday here in Korea, not super popular, but today being picked up a little bit more often. So over here, it's going to be Bulwark up first.
Yeah, Bulwark can't really do much right now. He's just going to go ahead and give himself some extra stack. Now, Hathor actually going to make big usage out of that strip coming out. She's going to go for the sleep, and she gets everyone.
Yeah, all three with the delayed promise. Now you can start going to work on to that Ganymede if you so choose. And it is Ganymede's turn first, of course. He gets a proc, why not?
Yeah, the most useless proc in the game.
I know, right? That one was not really necessary. A little bit of damage that takes care of that immunity out of him as well. Going to put up that defensive buff all around from the Tyrannus.
Yeah, so now Juno's going to go for the big strip here. Potentially, there's a lot of dots that we might be seeing as he gets the strip on everything with the stuns.
Yeah, big stuns on the Velajuel and the Tyrannus. Bulwark coming over doing some decent damage on to Ganymede there. Now it's over. We're going to sweet dreams the Ganymede and get the sleep.
Yeah, right now, he doesn't really want to be touching the Juno too much because you never want to debuff her. And this Molly sustain just kind of shutting down this Bulwark right now.
Yeah, it's really hard with Molly. Even when she's asleep, she's still kind of a
that.
force to be reckoned with. Another proc coming out.
Yeah, and that 10k healing, she doesn't even need to move to get the heal. That is probably one of the main things that sets her apart from other units as we see Vigor going for the big armor break.
Yeah, this is huge now. That Velajuel in trouble. Now you do have the Tyrannus here to bring him back potentially, and this is everybody's open and everybody's asleep.
Yeah, right now this is going to buy a lot of time for JUJU here as he chooses to constantly work down this Gany. It's super tanky as we see Molly heal coming out again for almost 10,000.
It's just so brutal. Molly will not let this Ganymede die. He's on the edge of the cliff, but she's got that arm extended. Ventilate over to the Vigor. And now you're working that Velajuel down. Very weak now with the armor break. But again, still some potential for that Velajuel to return to the field, even if it goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I must say, though, JUJU's absolutely getting karma right now because this is what happens when you take dead picks. This is just a perfect example of what happens if you make a bad draft because why Bulwark here? If you had something like a Masha or anything with some form of damage, then this Gany could have been dead already.
All right, yeah, and this time we're still not ready. the Tyrannus has been reset there on his cooldown. So Vigor now, he can just buff on up if he so chooses. He's going to go for the armor break. Doesn't get it on the Tyrannus. Juno just going to do some chip damage here. There's not a whole lot for Hathor to do right now with her second.
Yeah, I mean, even if she sleeps everyone here, Juno's just going to be cleansing herself out of it. And it's not like he has damage to get anything meaningful done whatsoever. Prima just going to roll over JUJU this match, it seems.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And there you can keep that Tyrannus, keep that revive out of his hands using that sealed magic. Very, very difficult. Tyrannus himself becoming very, very weak now. He will come back potentially there. And there's a sleep finally. Now we're going to get the delayed promise coming up. And this time it misses Juno. And Annie's back up and he's going to finish off the Tyrannus.
Yeah, JUJU should honestly just concede here. There's nothing he can do. He got outclassed by Prima here. Prima on top form today. He knows what he's doing in each of his drafts.
It's really incredible what he's doing. I mean, we're seeing this from both Prima and Skit. 2 O's all the way across the board. Their drafts so good, ahead of their opponents by a wide margin. And JUJU, it seems like he played very well. He got a win in the quarterfinals yesterday. But coming in here, he had problems once again with his draft, just like we saw when he faced up against Charmy.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind here is that Prima has been utilizing Molly a lot, and that unit has been key to some of his wins here because it kept his team so healthy. And we know that Skit also does tend to use Molly here and there, so Skit's going to be watching this right now, keeping in mind Molly is a unit that he may need to contest around with Prima.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really, really good point. Both of them really, really favoring that Molly right now. And then you've got Prima doing really good stuff with the Juno as well, so a couple of really important picks, really, really powerful for these guys.
Yeah, and mentioning Juno, right? Juno and Vigor, these are some of the units with the highest win rate here in APAC, and they are just staying true to that. Every time we see them having some form of advantage over the opponent in the middle game and late game.
Yeah, it's just crazy how good Vigor is. I mean, and Juno as well, but Vigor really is just so exciting to watch because of all the potential he brings to the table. And like you mentioned, he just fits in just about anywhere. He just kind of works.
Yeah. And we are going to be having the matchup we talked about, right? Skit and Prima coming up. And I believe, once again, right, Skit is going to be reading into his opponent as he's been doing throughout this tourney. He already knows what Prima's going to be drafting here. And I bet you he's preparing the Rika last pick again.
Oh, my goodness. I bet he is considering trying to set up Prima for that. Prima probably a little bit aware of it, although Prima has a lot less time to prepare for this next match, so we do have a break coming up, so he does have at least a few minutes to get ready. But on the other hand, Skit's had quite a bit of time to watch this and really think things over, and what we've seen so far from both of these players, though, is they're indomitable right now. Neither of them is beatable, and so who is going to topple who? One of them has to give eventually, and then they go up against that final boss, HWAN. Really, really exciting. Ooh! Event code. This one, you're going to have to explain this one for me, Peter.
Yeah, Zipkok. It's a Korean word. Jipkok means Jip is house, and Kok is kind of like a sound effect, I guess. You're just staying in your house. Very, very COVID-friendly thing to do right now. So if you're a lazy person like me, you like to stay in bed all day, and you get up only to pee, eat, play games on the PC, well, now's your time to shine because you're an ideal citizen if you do that. Stay in your house.
There you go. Really good stuff. The summoning stones in there as well. Still looking myself for the Ganymede or the Bastet on those stones. Hopefully I can get one. Good luck to you guys. Hopefully you get one. Or if you want the Sabrina, she's in there too. I saw her as one of the 4s coming through those water twins. Still good. Still very useful. I still like to use them on Necro, so nothing wrong with that. And yeah, a really, 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 really exciting matchup coming up though. Skit against Prima. Dude. This is like, I mean, neither of them has lost a game yet today. This
is like the two brain giants figuring it out. You know, what's stronger, science or math? That's kind of what we're having here. And then, of course, after that, the winner of that is going to be going against the big giant that is HWAN. He's got the monster box. So how much brain power does it take to take down the colossal giant?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really fascinating day. Some really smart plays coming through from these players. Prima and Skit coming up next, guys. Make sure you stay tuned. There's still another code as well, but 2 more games, and then the winner of this moves on to face HWAN in the losers finals. We'll be back soon after a short break.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
Time to write. No need to stay alone. All shifting now. Let your true self grow. Don't worry about a thing. 'Cause I'm with you all the way. Get into this world with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching for ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Trust in me when I tell ya. Waking in power, say yes. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Feel your worth. You know you're deep inside. See no limit now. You like what you see. Lost in modern life. Then get on with this adventure. Get into this game with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching for ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Trust in me when I tell ya. Waking in power, say yes. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching for ya. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Trust in me when I tell ya. Waking in power, say yes. Sing with me now. Say, oh, 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 oh. Hey, I've been looking for ya. Yes, I've been searching for ya.
Hello, Summoner! Hello, Summoner!
Hi, Summer.
Hello, summoners!
Outriders have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Even bonus. Get Ken for free.
SWC2020 at you right now. Paper Thin and Peter here. We are coming at you for a big matchup between SKIT and PRIMA. Undefeated today are both of these players. They want this so bad. They want to be the ones to represent Korea at the APAC regionals, and it is going to be one heck of a battle.
Yeah, and we've seen both of these players. They have something in common, and that is Molly. So potentially, maybe this is the key to getting such undefeatable records, and it's going to be very interesting, as we said, to see how this is going to fare off against each other.
I'm really excited for this. There's quite a bit of crossover in between some of their ideas. Vigor, Juno, Molly, particularly a lot of that being used by both players. Vela being common as well, but especially those three, especially Molly, very significant in their picks. Of course, they both like Hathor. Everybody likes Hathor, but it's going to be really fascinating to watch the kind of the tug of war between these two for those Mon picks.
Yeah, I mean, and they made some quotes about the new artifacts, and we see PRIMA, he said he's stressed out really farming those, so we know he's got all the artifacts he needs, and we also know SKIT, he's got so much artifacts, so they don't really have like a clear upper hand in whoever has the better rune and artifacts. They're both coming in on the equal level.
Yeah, definitely. They both like similar kind of play styles, it feels like. PRIMA says he likes CC, but he also likes fast, so there's a lot of options available. Han, too powerful, we've seen it too much, and then the Tianlong, PRIMA doesn't want anything to do with that Light Panda.
Yeah, I mean, Light Panda is definitely a unit that SKIT always goes for, and PRIMA has units like Wunsa, which does rely on boosting the team's attack bar, so I like that ban coming out as we see the standard trade-offs between the players. What's really going to be interesting is what follows here.
Yeah, absolutely. Right away, Sierra Fran, so nothing too out of the ordinary just yet from either player. SKIT went very quickly into that. What is going to be the follow-up here? Are we going to see some kind of Molly from PRIMA? It's been so successful for him. There's the Vela. That's been also very powerful. What is going to be that next one? It's going to be Tyrannus.
Yeah, I mean, PRIMA going for a very defensive pick against the more offensive pick coming out of SKIT here, and he is finally showing off his strategies right. He's been keeping these as his hidden card until he really feels like he needs it. Plati coming in here potentially, but no, he's going to be taking it back. He is really taking his time to think about what he wants to do, as Chiwoo and Savannah does seem to be a lot more consistent in my opinion than the Plati, so well done, SKIT.
Yeah, is he trying to force PRIMA into a Leo or something else here that he's maybe not comfortable with? That's what SKIT likes to do. He likes to put you in a bad position for your last pick.
Yeah, I mean, Leo would be a pretty viable pick here, or he could try what SKIT's been doing to everyone else, kind of like Rika, but I don't really think so because Chiwoo, Savannah, Hathor is kind of risky to try to Rika. As we see the Leo coming in, the safer option, and SKIT, he may just ban out the Leo because that unit is super strong, and if you are PRIMA, there's a lot of units that you're kind of scared of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's even 3 speed leaders on the board to make things worse. Sierra going to be the one going out, and it is indeed Leo. So the Chiwoo Savannah combo not going to be handicapped by that Leo passive this go around.
Yeah, I like that CR ban coming out. We've seen CR be such a hard carry, and we saw SKIT's damage earlier. He was doing 20k without attack buff to the ragdoll, and it just took him out. So we know he's got insane roots on that monster. I really like the ban.
Yeah, really, really good. Good, solid drafting between both of our players. And it's going to be Savannah first. You're going to go critical link, go for that strip, doesn't get it. So now you got to follow up with the Chiwu AoE strip, and you're going to get it all.
Yeah, something really interesting here. It's not going to matter because Hathor does move. However, usually Chiwu goes before the Savannah, so you can combo their skill 3s together. However, Savannah is showing some really, really high root investment from SKIT here.
Yeah, it's really interesting. If that Savannah does go first, it's still kind of interesting because you have that critical link as a strip potentially. AoE sleep going to come down, and now Fran gets the proc as well. Not really that important here because you're just going to use that on the Vigor, and you're going to try to focus him down.
Yeah, you do not want to be waking up those units right now. You want to get the maximum usage out of Hathor's skill 3, and then follow up with the skill 3 out of the Savannah later as Vigor getting some healing done.
Yeah, it doesn't cleanse, which is a little bit nice, and that's something you got going for you now. Now you got to be careful. You don't really have the availability to use that skill 3 from Savannah, but you're going to go for it. You want the speed buff. You want that armor break since there is no immunity from Belajul just yet.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty decent timing to go for that skill 3, and now Vigor going to go down. There is the... Oh my gosh!
Oh, no. Huge hit! Huge hit onto Ganymede. Ganymede is down.
Yeah, there's the revive on Taranis, but there's not going to be enough revives here to save him from all the damages Savannah's putting out.
Yeah, it's a crazy amount of damage. Another proc here from Fran. Why not get the buffs up and running now? You can go for that AoE strip. It's up onto Chiwu, and you're going to land it with the attack bar decrease.
Yeah, that's Chiwu doing some really good damage as well. He wanted that Ganny to ventilate the Taranis, but now he goes down, and it seems that Prima's going to get his first defeat here.
Yeah, SKIT just looking so powerful, allowing the Savannah Chiwu combo to come through. It is keeping all the buffs at bay and making things so difficult with all this CC he has available to just shut everything down.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance for Prima at this point, as SKIT just gonna confirm his victory here above, over Prima 1-0.
Yep, there it is. SKIT takes game number 1. The march towards the losers bracket finals continues for this #1 player in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very convincing victory out of SKIT. Yet again here, he managed to outdraft his opponent, and he knew even what the exact ban was. We've seen many cases where Leo actually got through against Chiwu Savannah, and most of the time it went really badly for the Savannah user.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a really smart play by SKIT all around. Puts Prima in a bad position where he basically has to pick Leo. There aren't a lot of other great options available for him at that point, and he's done this all day. He's boxed his opponents into corners.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Leo's not a counter to Savannah just because she cannot reduce attack bar, but Leo is really more of a counter to all the Beast Riders except the red one, because they do a lot of damage based on speed, and he just completely shuts that down, right? So right now we're getting into the drafting phase. Everything is looking pretty standard here so far, except the only difference is Prima is the one with Hathor this time.
Yeah, so they're trading the Ganny and the Hathor picks around, but SKIT really wants that Chiwu. Han is available. Wunsa coming in right behind it. Tianlang immediately being picked up for SKIT as that is available. So both of these players going into their light-dark pool for this one. Sierra, potentially, no, changing his mind. That Molly, we talked about this. She's so good.
Yeah, it is a bit of a contested pick between them, I guess, here, as we see in Game 2. And Prima really hates to see that Tianlang because Han is so strong because he cycles so much. That skill 3 relying on the attack bar that he gains, as well as Wunsa also boosting the team's attack bar. And Tianlang really cuts all that attack bar down.
Oh, but he might have the option available with Tessarian. Wants that Oblivion to land. Of course, get that passive, that annoying passive out of there.
Yeah, and now the problem with SKIT is if you're looking at your own draft, you got no threat. This looks like a terrible draft on paper. I'm sure if those supports are rooted on damage, you know, it could be effective. However, you got Chiwu and Tianlang, double stripper, then the only one that can make use of it is really Ganny, and then you just got like more sustain. It's a very iffy comp coming out of SKIT here.
Yeah, it feels like if you're Prima, you're kind of leaning towards just banning that Tianlang, right? Like, I mean, just knock that out of the way. Wusa going to be the last one. If we have to say Wusa and Wunsa, I might I might lose my mind a bit on that.
Yeah, they're pretty similar, right?
They're pretty similar in the English language. Indeed, Tianlang and Woonsa. See, I already got it in my head. Woonsa does come through, but Woonsa is going to be banned.
Yeah, so right now, this Han is going to be getting the attack bar. However, with this main stripper gone, it does mean he's got to rely on this Hathor skill 2 for all the Oblivions and armor breaks to land. As we see Chiwu getting the first turn, resetting the only reset on the side of Prima. It seems Skit has a pretty solid round 1 going for him right now.
All right, the Wish of Immortality is up. The vulnerability and the shields are here, trying to steal that immunity off of the Han. Doesn't come through. Vigor buffs up. Now we are over to Han going for that skill 3. Just going to take that shield off. A little bit of damage done.
Yeah, so what these players were thinking was Skit was like, okay, immunity, really hard counters Prima team. I'm going to constantly put up immunity and be okay. But I feel like what he didn't account for is even if you put up immunity, your team is so passive that there's nothing you can do, and you may as well get out-damaged eventually once a proc comes. Of course, Molly's going to be healing up along with the Wusa, but these hits, right, coming out of Vigor, Han, Tsarian, they're really starting to add up.
Yeah, you can go for the shield and the heal, but how long can this last? Is the damage potential, and as this goes on, it gets worse. The worse it goes because of that buff that comes through as this gets later and later into the game. Now you do get the block and a little bit of damage onto Han. Some glancing hit there as well. So some decent damage being done. Seal Magic being used onto the Vigor this go around to reset those buffs.
Yeah, that was a huge proc. He definitely does not want any sustain coming, and it's buying his team the time he needed, right? Pushing back all the attack bar, and it seems the damage out of the supports are going to be enough to take down Hound pretty soon.
All right, Ventilate is up. Going to use it on Wusa this time around. Really, like you mentioned, really needs to keep that immunity up as much as possible. Those shields, of course, very nice too. Oh no, the resistance! No strip for you, Hathor.
Yeah, that is a deciding moment in the game because he really wanted to make use of the Tsarian and Vigor armor break, but he can't do that with Wusa constantly providing immunity, and he even missed his only chance to stop it.
Yeah, so right now he is able to sustain long enough to get that down. There's that Oblivion onto the Molly, but asleep, why not? To poor Tsarian there. Now Vigor, no skills up because he was sealed. And over to the Hathor, it is going to be the delayed promise coming through. Does get the sleep onto the Ganymede and the Molly as he so wanted, but Wusa just going to go ahead and buff them up.
Yeah, I mean, right now, everything is going wrong for Prima here. Skit just getting all the ideal situations going for him, right? He has a team that has very low impact, but somehow those little impacts are adding up to where he is at a 4v3, and he seems unkillable right now.
Yeah, right now it looks really strong. We're just going to go for the skill 2 this time with Chiwu. Doesn't get any strips onto that Vigor. This go around now over to the Hathor. She does have skill 2 available. Just going to go with the skill 1 though, and she procs into the Violet there. Again, when you see a skill 1 into a proc, it's usually not what you wanted. Not the right time for it, but it is what it is. Attack power up, HP down. Now things start to, I think, get a little more scary here for Skit.
Yeah, so right now, Tsarian and Vigor still looking very healthy. Once they get an armor break on, we know how hard Tsarian hits. That could be Chiwu going down in one crit, and he is going to watch out for that as he gets another Seal Magic off. This Gani has been getting really high efficiency skill 3s out of this game, and it's really buying Skit the time he needs to potentially try to take Vigor down.
Yeah, with the sustain, he is able to just kind of keep whittling away at these units. First the Han, now over to the Vigor, and this Vigor getting very low now.
Yeah, even Chiwu landing the crit on the water here. Vigor still needs another turn before he has sustain. If he does not proc here, that does mean that he's gonna get taken down.
Yeah, it is really brutal right now. You can use the North Star Wisdom to finish the Vigor off. Tsarian and Hathor, the only ones left for Prima. He needs some serious damage to come out.
Nah, I mean, like, you can only hope for so much damage when Wusa keeps getting the shields up. There's even a Gani to ventilate him non-stop. Somehow, right, we are seeing an example where Chiwu, Wusa, as the only damage dealers, is actually overwhelming the opponent. I would say this happens about like 20% of the time, and 80% of the time it goes wrong.
Yeah, this time around, Skit comes out ahead. So far, it's still going for it, is PRIMA. His tournament life is on the line. He might try to play this out. A lot of damage being done to Ganymede. The Oblivion is on there. That doesn't really make any difference. As you're going to ventilate the Wusa, you just continue to keep that immunity and those shields going. Big strip coming out there. Not that it really matters. The attack bar pushed back from the Chiwu, and a lot more damage being done trying to finish the Tsarian off.
Yeah, I mean, that Tsarian not landing armor break there on Ganymede, really rubbing salt into the wound. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered even if Ganny died. However, that doesn't make anything better for PRIMA, as now it's his turn to get completely rolled over by a 2-0 defeat.
It's crazy. You wonder, were there any defense breaks or armor breaks that landed?
I would say
I can't remember one. Like that, the game went so fast in the beginning because I know there weren't any late game. Were there any? I mean, poor PRIMA there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There was so much shields coming out of Wusa throughout the whole game. It did look good for him as he was laying out the damage on Chiwu. However, Molly healing just completely snowballed in, and everything was going right for Skit. And it seems it was too much for PRIMA to handle once his Han went down.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time in a way. I mean, you're trying to hold on, you know, if you're PRIMA, but you just couldn't there. And over time, you know, in the beginning phase, there's just you know, if you build that Chiwu crit, he does hit kind of hard. It's not super hard, but it's hard enough that and he's going to crit quite often that it matters. And especially if he's landing those skill ones onto Vigor, even with the elemental disadvantage getting crits, that helps a bit too. So Skit here, not too surprising, not dropping a single game here today, showing us why he is the #1 player in the world.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those moments where we see Vigor not working out. What PRIMA's team comp had was a lack of strip, which Skit completely utilized to his advantage. Once that Wunsa was gone, he knew Hathor was the only thing that he's got to reset, and he had Chiwu and Ganny to make that work. And yeah, I mean, really unfortunate for PRIMA. I don't even feel like his draft was that bad. I just think Skit was too good here.
Yeah, Skit is just so powerful right now. Coming into this HWAN, we mentioned it, he's got that big monster box. Now you have got kind of the dream matchup coming through here. Let's give some credit before we move on to that to PRIMA. He played amazing today. I mean, until he ran into Skit, he didn't drop a game. So really powerful performance by PRIMA, but Skit is moving on. He will be facing HWAN in the finals here in the losers bracket. We'll be back with that match after this break.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
Summoner.
Hi, Summoners.
Hello, summoners. 소류拳.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
소류拳.
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to find out who will be moving on, joining Charmy at the APAC Regionals. It is going to be a huge matchup between SKIT and HWAN, a rematch of our very first game of the day yesterday. Can't wait to see this one go down.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a lot more diverse playstyle, I would say, coming into this match than we had in other games, because we know HWAN, he has a different monster box from the rest of the players here. We've seen a lot of patter action coming from him yesterday, and that unit has been huge for him, cleansing away whatever Hathor can do, which we know, SKIT likes to use that monster a lot, and given Patter, how strong he is into Hathor, it's going to be very interesting to see whether he pre-bans it or not. And of course, there's Ragdoll to be boosting the attack bar. We've seen HWAN try to go with some Akrama Jaeger action into Gyan Hathor. Not really sure if he's going to be doing the same thing, because we saw SKIT going for Tessarian, right? And it really, really worked well into HWAN. We may be seeing that again from SKIT here right now.
Yeah, you've nailed a lot of really great points that I was thinking in my head. The only time that SKIT was able to take HWAN down was when he had that Gany Hathor available and he banned the Patter. So I think you just got to ban Patter first game. Patter is just too darn strong right now with what is available to SKIT. So, and then again, you can't let Gany Hathor come through if you are, if you're HWAN. That was the one that really broke you, and that breaks just about everybody, to be frank.
Yeah, I mean, Gany Hathor, even if you bring units that cannot get CC'd, like Jaeger and Akrama, it's not like Gany Hathor is the only two you're fighting. There's two other units that you have to fight, and those units are usually going to be things that can disrupt Akrama and Jaeger, prevent them from being as effective, which is why this combo is not very successful into Gany Hathor usually, and I'm sure HWAN knows it too now, so he's going to be thinking of different strategies to deal with it this time, perhaps maybe an Amelia,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good idea there. Amelia, very, very useful against that. I think you're just trying to keep, Hathor at bay, especially against SKIT. He loves to first pick Hathor if he can help it, or Ganymede, whichever one of those two. But Hathor seems to be the one that he has a bit more success with. Although today, I could look down this list. It's just, Hathor first pick, he wins. Hathor first pick, he wins. Ganymede first pick, he wins. The only time today he hasn't first picked Hathor or Gany was the very first game of the day when he first picked Vela. So, or at least in the first two picks. So he's absolutely all over these two, and he's just been rocking and rolling today, dude. Just sweeping everybody so far.
Yeah, I think it would actually be a viable strategy for HWAN coming in here. Don't ban the Tianlang, don't ban any of that. Just ban Hathor and then move on to Ganny ban Hathor, and take that away from Skit.
I like it. I like the idea. We'll see what our two players are going to bring. This is an important match, of course. I mean, the #1 player in the world against the man who looked unstoppable yesterday, HWAN against Skit. And Skit, we know what he's got. He's got the diversity. He's got the brains. He's going to back you into a corner. Let's see if he can do that to HWAN, who has a box, you know, bigger than the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I like how you worded that one. And we know that Skit, he's not dropped a single game today. And if anyone can take him out, perhaps it will be HWAN. You know, he not likes only those type of units that we have seen, such as Ragdoll, Viva Shell, Patter. He also likes Sekhmet, and it seems we can see based on his picks last time, he chose Josephine, Mei Hu Wang. So he's got a lot of really good elemental Nat 5s that are ruined ideally enough for him to use as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're Skit, you definitely looked at what Charmy was able to do against him yesterday. That's ban the Patter, and you know, if you can get that Hathor, that's going to be a big deal, because that seems to be what Charmy was able to do. Get that first pick Hathor. He had Hathor Ganny both times, so that absolutely cannot happen if you are HWAN. That Ganny Hathor is destructive to you no matter what you try.
Yeah, I mean, Ganny Hathor, we talked about earlier how it needs to be not enabled for Skit tier, and HWAN most likely going to be doing that unless he wants to lose again and, you know, get slept left and right.
Yeah, and even the Tessarian, you got to find a way, because we've already found that that is the Achilles heel for HWAN, is that Tessarian. You got to find a way to get around that if you are backed into one of those bad positions where you have to do something like take the Akroma, take the Jaeger, these kind of things. So, and the Filaria as well. We saw that be another unit that HWAN really liked, was Filaria, another one with a passive. So, it's going to be really interesting to see how these two play around each other. You can see some of the highlights from the HWAN-Charmy match, where Charmy did end up besting HWAN 2-1.
Yeah, and some interesting thing that he has noted is that HWAN said that he is applying damage decrease artifacts to his monsters to deal with things such as Water Panda and the Harmonia combination, right? Because the only way you can deal with Molong skill 3 is perhaps getting that artifact that reduces damage taken from water. So he is showing a bit of his weakness, so to say. Molong type of teams, maybe Skit might utilize some of them too.
All right, we'll see if Skit is aware of that as these two get ready for the losers final, a best of 3 between Skit and HWAN to determine the final spot from Korea at the APAC Regionals.
All right. Here we have HWAN going for that Ganny pre-ban. I'm sure you like that one, as I see you nodding your head in agreement. And also Skit going for Patter ban. We also like that coming from him because we know how destructive that unit can be.
I think these are great bans from both of these players. Skit first picking Hathor, nothing too surprising there. Now, this is where HWAN has a lot of options and he has some room to maneuver. Now that Ganny is gone, that Hathor-Ganny combo is not on the table, he can rely on some other things besides some of those units with really strong passives. Fran, coming up first, what is going to be the next one?
Well, he's definitely got a lot of arsenal of options for him to go for.
Ooh.
As we see him going for that early Akroma pick. I'm not sure how I feel about it because that is too much investment against CCE when Skit has 4 more units that he can flexibly pick.
Yeah, and look at this, Skit making it a very difficult decision now as he goes for 2 incredibly strong support. Well, and I don't even know if I call Vigor a support. He's so good at everything, I'm not sure he's strictly a support, this jack of all trades that is Vigor. But the Nephthys is going to be potentially picked up, as we know the LD boxes inside of HWAN so large. What is going to be that next one? It is going to be Ileana.
So do keep in mind that Akroma is going to be pretty much useless into this Molly pick because she's not going to do enough damage through all the sustain, especially if Skit chooses to lock in the Tetra, which is going to be there mainly to mess with the Nephthys pick coming out. And Holy, he's got to pick another damage like he's thinking about, you know, potentially a Feng Yan, and he's going for it. Wow.
Yeah, with all this water available, Feng Yan going to be very possible. Gets rid of that Juno, the Juno Molly combo, insane. Here in the APAC region. So, but then the Feng Yan not going to be available anyway. So, we move into this one. This time, though, it's only the Hathor, not the Ganymede, and no Tessarian, potentially to deal with some of those passives from Akroma, but that matters really that much.
Yeah, keep in mind that he has Ileana here as well. So right now, his only form of damage is going to be the Akroma. And how is Akroma going to kill anything against Molly Glancing, given that all 4 units on the Skit side are ruined very tanky.
Well, we'll see. We're going to come down with the AoE from Nephthys, doing a lot of, those debuffs that she likes to do. But there is some cleanse here available for SKIT as time moves on. Fran, the immunity up, and just poking down, chipping down onto the Tetra.
Yeah, I mean, we can see the anti-crit coming in there. All SKIT has to do is really not worry about anything because he knows that Molly's going to move here and heal this Tetra back up to full. He is really in a comfortable spot against this draft that Juan came up with.
Yeah, it is. It looks like another kind of, double sustain against each other, but we'll see if SKIT, with that vigor especially, seems to be a key unit for him. As you can see, it's being focused on a bit by Juan, going to bring up immunity of his own, along with giving the invulnerability to Fran. Now Fran goes up. She's just going to continue to attack break onto that vigor.
Yeah, so right now, Akrama is going to be a non-factor until she gets to late game and she starts doing enough damage to actually kill things with violent procs. So SKIT, he needs to make sure that he can take down as much as he can before that Akrama gets to the late game. And Vigor is going to be one of his main options in doing that because that's his only armor breaker. So he's really trying to strip away the immunity as Fran is now left wide open.
All right, here we go. Attack break onto Fran. It is Fran's turn, though. She's going to purify that, but she does lose that invulnerability. We're moving over to trying to get the Ileana immunity off as well. Seal of Light coming in. It does get the silence onto Hathor there. The Shred coming through. We do get the defense break.
Yeah, I mean, there were no crits there, so there wasn't too much damage. And there's Ileana to save the friend right now, unless Hathor can go for the skill 2 on her. No, he's going to go for a safer play. He's like, I'm just going to lock down 2 units at once here. But I actually kind of... Alright, I'm not going to question SKIT's decision. After all, he's a great player. But whatever the case is, we're back to square one. Everything's at full HP again.
Yeah, there's so much cleanse on both sides. They're just going to be able to keep a lot of these debuffs off each other for extended periods of time. Skill 2 is here. The Sweet Dreams is onto Ileana. It does get the strip this go around over to Molly. She's looking to strip, does not get it onto the Fran. Ileana coming back with a little bit of damage onto Vigor, but so far this is just a sustained battle.
Yeah, I mean, we can literally just make sound effects for the rest of the game, and that would be sufficient enough casting until we get to a point where we actually have enough damage on these monsters to do something.
Yeah, right now it's just trading back and forth, biding time as we progress into the late game. Here we go. The first one, attack power up, HP down. Now things are going to start to hurt a little bit more. You're going to have to briefing yourself. Cleans is Ileana. She can't have that debuff on there as she is being focused down.
Yeah, I mean, all I can do is, like I said, go and just, as Ileana prepares to go for the shield, and then Akrama,
I like the noise you made for the mermaid attack. The bloop. It's just going to be a heal from Fran. I mean, was that a cat noise you just made?
I don't know. I'm trying my best, okay?
I know. So, yeah, now it's just, I mean, there's just so many buffs on both sides. Not a ton of strip. I mean, there is some strip, but not like big-time AoE, like in-your-face strip from SKIT here. It's a lot of single-target strip that's not amazingly consistent, somewhat consistent. And speaking of, are we going to see it this go around? Fran starting to be whittled down, but will that matter? No, you don't get the strip onto Nephthys there. It's just back and forth. Shred, though, continuing to do some work onto Fran. Gets a proc into it. He doesn't get the break, though.
Come on, let's get some hype into the match. Big damage coming out of Vigor here as Molly follows up with the 1K crit. Hathor gonna follow up right now, potentially with the skill 3. Buying time for SKIT here as he tries desperately hard to finally take down this Fairy Queen. The Neostone agent does not get a proc, meaning Vigor gonna go ahead and potentially just go for the finish off on the Fran because we're sick of seeing her again. Just kill her, please!
No, it doesn't come through. It isn't available just yet. Akroma's turn is going to go ahead and do some damage to the Vigor. Nephthys up is going to try the temporary proc there on the... We're trying to finish the Fran off. Are we going to get it? We do get it with the proc.
Yeah, I like that. Now we're on the same page with the hype. We gotta do something to spice up the match.
I got lulled into a false sense of security here.
Yeah, we were both here like falling asleep and we're like, wait a minute, we got a job to do. Let's get the energy back up. And now Vigor, he's just gonna go ahead and keep the team healthy, getting that speed buff going. And they're really just trying to strip each other right now. And like, all I can say is, why, Juan? Why? Why do you go for Akrama first? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was a kind of an odd pick. I guess he was expecting something a little different out of SKIT to follow up, but SKIT is very, very smart. and plays around this safely, very, very safely. Now, Nephthys coming up and just doing a little bit of chip damage here. Here we go, trying to get that armor break. Once again, resisting so much tank, so much resistance on HWAN. Not much doing. Still getting some decent damage, though, now onto this Nephthys.
Yeah, we're approaching the exciting moments of the game right now as Akrama, their 60% attack power up, meaning that I was hoping for bigger damage than that, not gonna lie. But now the Neostone Agent just gonna chop away at the Wolf, and finally the skill 2 sees some usage. However, Akrama not gonna be able to follow up because she is not that fast, and all the cleanse coming out again here.
Yeah, Nephthys goes down. A 4-2 monster advantage for SKIT right now. Ileana and Akrama just trying to buy time until the end of the world, until the apocalypse, and then you get the strip and the sleep from Hathor just to put salt in the wound, and that will be it. HWAN taps out, SKIT takes game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna put it fully honestly. What was that, HWAN? That was complete failure of a draft coming out of HWAN there. Everything he did that game didn't make any sense to me. When you went with the Ileana, I also saw it before it happened, he had no damage on the team.
Yeah, there was 0 damage. At least SKIT had the vigor available. But yeah, there's just not much going on there. I mean, every once in a while you see something weird where Nephthys is, with those debuffs, is able to make a team that doesn't have a lot of damage work, but it's not likely with all that cleanse.
Yeah, I mean, Molly, or not Molly, but Tetra,
yeah,
she is one of the main counters to Nephthys, and of course Juno being there as well as the counter, he was like, I really don't want to deal with all that healing. Well, too bad, because you got to deal with all the other heals.
Yeah, it was just so smart by SKIT. He continues to be really smart in his drafting. This time it's Ragdoll and Savannah as our bans. Ragdoll from SKIT, Savannah from HWAN. And Fran first pick this time around. We haven't seen that too much here in this particular tournament. Vergani coming up next.
Yeah, alright. So now HWAN, we're seeing that he really likes that Fran pick. He's always relying on it, and Fran can be a good pick into SKIT because we know SKIT takes a lot of units that tends to put debuffs, as now we do see that Patter, the good boy Patter on the side of HWAN.
Yeah, the double Druid and then the Verd to follow up this time from SKIT. So SKIT definitely coming in, watched a lot of what was going on. Chiwu gonna lock in as his other pick. I would be surprised if he's thinking about banning this Patter, but Jaeger. And then what? What is going to be the final pick for HWAN? His tournament life is on the line. Yeah,
SKIT identifying the weakness in HWAN's team so far. There were 2 little damage, so he's going to comfortably lock in that Vertihel, as we do see Patter with the freaking 100% win rate in the APAC. It has been undefeated so far, as we're about to find out. Will he remain the same here? But seeing that Hathor Organi pick out of SKIT means that the Patter will be banned no matter what, and HWAN just goes ahead and takes out the main stripper on the side of SKIT.
Yeah, this is really interesting. This has been the Achilles heel. We mentioned it before the game for HWAN. The Hathor Organi does make its way through since the Chiwu was the ban, and it is going to be Hathor up first. Sweet Dreams going to get the strip and the sleep right out the gate. Seal Magic coming through over onto the Nephthys, and we're going to get it. There is a resistance on the cooldown bar reduction at least.
Yeah, right now the Nephthys not having that skill 2 available is going to be a lot of damage down for HWAN, as SKIT right now, he's in a very comfortable spot because he landed a crucial sleep onto the Fran, and now he is looking to try to go through the skills of Gani Hathor here, and Vertihel boosting up the team to enable them to go right after this Jaeger.
Yeah, big damage coming onto Verd there. We get the return, the revenge onto Hathor. Not really doing much on that return attack, though. Ventilate going to be used to get that second skill up for Vigor. Give some buffs to his team. Now he's going to go for the Shred. Gets the armor break.
Yeah, SKIT is in an absolutely comfortable position right now, as all he's going to do is constantly sleep everything down and lock down this Jaeger, just doing the chip damage that he can do, and eventually it's going to be enough for him to go down. And now the question is, won't it be too late for HWAN to do anything by the point that he's awake?
Gets the strip off of that defense. Now this Jaeger is very, very vulnerable. Here comes the buffs once again, and now moving through the Jaeger. Nothing really doing. The revenge from Verd comes through. Now we're just speeding everything up. This is incredible. The speed combo adding to the the Hathor Organi madness.
Yeah, we talked about how if you're HWAN, you don't want to let SKIT have Gani Hathor, because we know HWAN's weakness is Gani Hathor. We've seen this happen again and again, but yet he chose to pre-ban the Savannah instead of the Hathor, and he's really eating up for his mistakes.
And now you can reset the cooldowns on Tyrannus. keep his, ability to revive completely at bay. It makes things so challenging. And with Verd there, it's just non-stop CC, 4 days. Ventilate coming onto Hathor. This is just textbook here from SKIT.
Yeah, I mean, SKIT, he is completely on form today. He has once again and again completely outdrafted, outsmarted his way throughout the tournament. Every single person he came across just simply had a worse draft than him.
And that does it. SKIT runs the gauntlet, doesn't drop a single game, and makes his way to the APAC regionals. Tons of fans around the world of Summoner's War very happy right now. The #1 player in the world does it. After a disappointing loss yesterday, he completely turns it around.
Yeah, SKIT showing why he is the ranked 1. Yesterday, we did see an unfortunate performance out of him, but today he is not disappointing the fans. He is showing why he is up there without Light Dark monsters, as he says, because he literally wrote in his profile, right, that he doesn't have any Nat 5s, Light Dark, and he's one of the highest ranked players while doing that, and he only got Tianlang a month ago.
Right, he literally just picked up his first Light Dark Nat 5, so he's incredible. What a dominant performance we saw from him here today. Basically winning through the pick ban phase almost the whole way through. I mean, it felt like he just had his opponents just read like a book, and I can't believe, I am so surprised that HWAN let that Ganny Hathor go through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be toxic, but what can I say? HWAN just really played bad.
It gets to you, the nerves get to you when you're in a really pressure moment. You play so well yesterday, did HWAN, getting all the way so close to going on, almost beating Charmy. He lost 2-1, and then you come in here today, you got to watch all this, you get all this information, but you're seeing SKIT just destroy opponent after opponent. Maybe that gets into your head a little bit. Then you lose that first game, and it kind of can set your mind off. You get a little bit tilted. You're not, you're not your normal self. You're not your normal calm, collected ladder self.
Yeah, and we see once again the confirmation, the victory going to SKIT 2-0 throughout the whole entire day. If that's not a champion, I don't know what is. Congratulations to SKIT.
Yeah, huge congratulations to SKIT. Exciting day from him. What a performance all around. PRIMA, huge props to him. Got to give huge props to HWAN as well. He played incredible. All of our players, incredible stuff from them. Just to get here, so difficult. There's so many great players. And then it is going to be Charmy and SKIT representing Korea at the APAC Cup.
Yeah, every single match today was 2-0. There was not a single 2-1. I almost feel like our break time was longer than every single game we casted today.
I think you might be right. I mean, it just felt, it almost got monotonous. It almost got almost got repetitive because I'm just watching SKIT destroy everything. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and we just gotta do something about the break times because we're like casting away. We're getting our energy up, but then we sit for 10 minutes and we're like, oh. And then we have to somehow get it up again like this.
Well, we'll be back next week. We'll be plenty hyped and prepped for the SEA and AU preliminaries. Same time, same place, Saturday, Sunday, 2 p.m. Korea Standard Time. And we have got some amazing players in there. I've been watching a lot of Hong KFC. He's one of my favorite guys out there right now. And of course, there's Diligent, the long-time SWC veteran.
Yeah, this is my server. I played in the Asia server, so many of these names are familiar to me. So I'm really looking forward to the matches coming out here, and I'm gonna have also some insider knowledge, so to say, on these players because I do know some of them well. So I am looking forward to it just as much as you.
It's a really exciting week next week. All these weeks are so exciting. So many great players. It continues to be excellent, and we should have something special for you guys coming up in just a second. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching. We really hope you guys enjoyed the show once again. We really had a great time today. I mean, SKIT it's just flabbergasting. It's mind-blowing. Sometimes I'm just left speechless just watching his games because he's just so good.
Yeah, I mean, SKIT, we like him for a reason, right? He's the guy to go to, and everyone just admits his skills because I think it just adds to the fact that he doesn't have like crazy Light Dark monsters. He's using free-to-play monsters like Vertihal and stuff, and he's making them work to the highest quality.
Yeah, so the next code down here, SWC2020, which I even know this one means good.
Yeah, Joa. I like SWC. Hopefully, less Ganyator and I'll Joa more.
Maybe. And in the meantime, I'm going to be using those summoning stones to fish for another Ganymede because I really, obviously really like him, as everybody does. Was there a match today where we didn't see Ganymede?
I mean, come on. It was a skit takeover
Every game
day.
here picked Ganymede. Every game here picked Ganymede.
Like, throw the papers. We don't even need the sheets. We don't need all this data that we're getting. It's just Gany, Hathor. That's all you got to write on the paper for me. Ganymede, Hathor, and I got it for the day.
And Vigor apparently as well now.
Yeah,
he's
Vigor.
right up there as one of those continual picks that we're seeing all the time. And when Juno is picked, she's strong. When Molly is picked, she's strong. What an incredible day. Congrats again to our winner, Skit. He's joining Charmy at the APAC Cup. Guys, that's going to do it for us. Thank you again. We'll see you next week at SWC 2020.